puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spots. Puzzle hearts, we're in this together. Feeling it piece by piece. Our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spot. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spots. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Feeling it piece by piece. Our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spot. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spots. Puzzle hearts, we're in this together. Feeling it piece by piece. Our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spot. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spots. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Feeling it piece by piece. Our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second, wow the crowd.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Euro Jigsaw Jam competition. Great to see you all there with your funny yellow long boxes there. So hello also to my co-host Fuji.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so we actually have an interesting theme today. The topic is puzzle games. So we asked our participants what if they also like some other puzzle games or activities. And yeah, we had lots of interesting answers. But yeah, I'd like to ask first, I'll go virtual assistant behind the scenes, Sandra. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, so tell us, do you enjoy puzzle-like activities other than jigsaws?
I think most of us do, but I do like crosswords and word games, and I do like these magazines you have with the crosswords and different puzzles in them. And I do a lot of mobile gaming, so different puzzle like games and stuff like that, and color matching, and yeah.
Yeah, and so what is it about like those particular games or crosswords that you enjoy?
I like to solve things, I think. I like to connect things and make it, get the answer and feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah, that's true. There's a nice feeling of accomplishment to finish off a crossword or some kind of some people say things like Sudokus and different word puzzles. Yeah, and have you ever are they all more like activities that you do by yourself, or are there ones where you can do it socially?
Most often I do it by myself. I really like being at home. So mostly it's by myself. Well, of course I have my cats and my son, but yeah, most often by myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. And so what about you, Fruji? Do you enjoy some puzzle-like activities outside of jigsaws?
Yes. I have like waves of being completely hooked on Sudoku, but that's usually like I do it for like a week, but then I do it nonstop, like Sudoku after Sudoku after Sudoku. And then I don't do it for like, I don't know, half a year. So like it comes in waves. And then the other, well, I would kind of consider it as a puzzle. I love escape games. Both the escape board games that you can get, which is like, you know, these one time, you buy it once, you play it through, and then it's pretty much trash. But I also enjoy like the actual escape games when you really go into an escape room and you're locked in and you have to find your way out. And that's always like all kinds of puzzles that you have to do. Especially when I was still living in Budapest, that was a great thing to do because there's a lot of escape rooms in Budapest scattered all around. So it was like a constant thing that we used to do with friends.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone will be doing it at the European Championship. Yes, Stein is in. He was.
I can recommend a couple of places. So Stein, if you're up for an escape game, I'm always up for an escape game. The good thing about escape rooms in Budapest is that what they do is they test escape rooms that they want to introduce in Western Europe because they can very cheaply do it in Budapest. So it's usually much cheaper to go here. And like these are the kind of rooms that they are going to then move into like Western Europe later. So yes, I can share a recommendation for everyone. Like I will put together something.
So they have to check when there's a break in the calendar on the European Championship, and then like go solve a puzzle of a different kind.
Of time because they're super popular. So you have to come up with like kind of a schedule that you're going to be doing. But yeah, you have to book ahead of time because they book out quite often. So especially the good ones. But I'll come up with a list for everyone. I'm so happy that everyone is into it.
Have you done an escape room, Sandra?
No, I haven't. I'm really excited to try one, but I don't have one really close to me. So, but I would like to do one someday.
Yeah, with everybody talking about them, it has made me a bit curious. So,
yeah, same.
I can very highly recommend them, really.
Yeah, something to do on the bucket list. Yeah, well, thanks, Sandra, for helping to track our finishes. And Fruji, I think we're ready to do the reveal. So
yes, let's do the reveal. I'm already super excited because I don't think I have seen this box shape before.
Yeah, so everybody, you can unwrap your puzzle wrapping paper and remove any stickers or plastic that may be on the box. Yeah, so tell us in the comments, our YouTube viewers, do you enjoy puzzle-like games? Video games, word puzzle, logic puzzles, board games with an element.
Board game puzzles.
Mystery clue detective games.
Ooh, what brand is this? This looks so cool.
So I'm gonna just put myself on the screen because we have a extra information I'd like to share. So this is the puzzle we have today. The image is actually split on the corner of the box. So you can either hold the box like this, place it the box on the table like that, which is a bit awkward because you have to like flip it. It's a maze. And it's actually a puzzle game, so that's why I chose that topic for today. So you have some cards in there. You don't need these now. This is only when you have finished the puzzle at the very end, then you can find the instructions on the back of the poster. So there's a poster there. You can take the poster out and yeah, either put it on the table or lean it up against your box. These cards, just take them out for now and just put them off to the side. When you have finished your puzzle, you can read the back and there are instructions how you will play the game after completing the puzzle. So take out the poster, put the lid back on the box and in the middle of the table, and then we'll be ready to go.
This seems like it's going to be a pretty challenging one.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't need the cards until later, but you may take out the poster. All right, let's do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And off we go. Lids are flying off already. Yeah, this is definitely going to be pretty challenging. I can see that the maze itself with the lines going all over the place might be quite a challenge. So I'm very excited to see how people are going to go about this.
Yeah, so this brand is called Iello, spelled I-E-L-L-O. It's a French board game company, and they've also extended their range into puzzles, and they use really interesting artwork by mostly French artists, I believe. So it is actually a game. So once you finish the puzzle, you have to get to the top of the maze, and you need the cards to help you do that. So there are a lot of repeating elements. I mean, you have like the lower purple clouds at the bottom and then the white clouds at the top, but you do have a lot of trees. There are also vines, bridges, a dragon tail, whisking its way through the maze, and lots of similar colors, like the rooftops are very similar. So when I did this, I had to check the box fairly regularly. So yeah, wasn't as quick as some of the puzzles I've done recently, but very interesting to see.
So this is not the one that you managed in under 40 minutes on the first try.
I need a lot more time for this one, but we have a star-studded cast tonight, so we will surely have some good times. A lot of speedy folks joining us today. So I'm going to start at the letter L. Here we go. Sorry, just saw one more registration come through. Okay,
The very last minute.
So we have Lena from Germany, Lenka from Slovakia, Lena Beata from Norway, Lynn from Belgium, and Mari from USA, and Maria from Slovakia.
Yes, there's a lot of flipping going on already. So far, yeah, I guess everybody is going through their heads of like how they're going to go about this puzzle. It would be pretty logical to start somewhere with the sky, maybe, or like the surrounding areas instead of the labyrinth. Like, how did you go about this?
I think I started with the clouds. I mean, I like busy parts, so the red dragon jumped out to me, but what I found is then the tail all looks the same, and it's all got an orange background. So even then it was hard to place. Like, so I saw some red pieces jumping out to me, so of course I pulled those out. But there's a lot of orange on this image. Yeah, there is a little bit of water in the background. You might see on some of the posters there's just like a little bit of green on the left and the right, so that part is easier to pull. And the clouds at the bottom have like this more bluish purplish tone, but other than that, there's a lot of orange.
Yes, the orange parts are pretty visible, or even on like the small pictures now that I am seeing. That probably jumps out. I can already see a couple of people sorting a little bit. Like also on screen, the people that we see puzzling are doing like a little bit of sorting. Edges I definitely see being pulled out. And yeah, a little bit of color sorting maybe.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to mention that this is from the Treple Factory. So the guys told me, so I got to know this brand at the toy fair in Nuremberg, so the largest toy and game fair, and the guy told me straight away, oh yeah, this is from the Treple Factory. So I also thought it was quite good before the European Championship, so it's another Treple-like puzzle, but just with a very different image, which is hopefully new for most people.
Which kind of trefoil? So like, what is like the pieces like? Is it like the higher quality trefoil or the other one, which is like the more like easy?
I haven't done that many trefoils, to be honest. I mean, I've done some of those velvet soft touch, so it's not like that. And it's not.
So
like
is it the more simple one that are a little bit more cubic? The
yeah,
pieces.
I mean, it fits better. I mean, I did the first two trefoils I ever did was Candy Store and Donuts, and while I liked the image, they just crumbled so much, and this is not as crumbly. Yeah, so it feels like it has improved since it is like a better quality one, and it's not this velvet soft touch one that had this weird texture.
Yes. There is a question in the chat from Micha. What was your time?
My time
this one
was 1 hour and 5 minutes.
And then Vicky's guess for first finish is 39:12.
Yeah, I can imagine around 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, but still, it looks like a challenge. It's probably a challenge also for the quicker puzzlers. On like the usual podium potential puzzlers.
Yeah, it's just
there might be a little bit of something for everyone in here.
Yeah, I think you can't. I feel like with this one, you can do like the clouds and the trees and the background. You can puzzle intuitively, like, oh, that kind of must connect here, and you can just kind of work your way around that. I feel like the center part, it really slows down because you just have these boardwalks going everywhere, and it's like this connects here, this connects here. Here's another purple rooftop and another purple rooftop, and you have little figures around. There's like an angel and some beast looking guy, there's a treasure chest, a snake, a spider. So when you play the game, when you meet these characters, there are different things that you can do, and you basically have to get past the characters. Some characters will help you and some characters will stand in your way, and you have to work your way around it. So at the very top of the maze, it says exit. And at the very bottom of the maze, it says start. So you're climbing a mountain of sorts. Yeah, so on screen we have Maria TB from Sweden, Mariana from Portugal, Mooney from Germany, Nadia from Indonesia, Nia from UK, and Olivia from Poland.
It's a colorful selection now. A lot of countries from a lot of corners of the world. Yeah, a lot of people are starting with the edge. I can see that. And it seems like the sky part of the edge is also forming quicker than the bottom.
Yeah,
yes, some flipping is already completed. And there are some guesses coming in the chat already. 40 minutes, 44 minutes. Yes, somewhere in the rough 40s.
Yeah, so some of our participants told us that they enjoy video games, board games, Tetris, Legos, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, Japanese crosswords / nonograms. So that's something I had to look up because somebody wrote nonogram, and I thought maybe that was a I don't know, spelling mistake or something. I'd never heard of that before. And then somebody said it a second time, and somebody said it a third time, and I was like, okay, this is a thing. I need to look it up. Yeah, and so here they say it's Japanese crossword / nonogram. So it looks a little bit like a mini Sudoku with like numbers running across the top, and you have to kind of, figure out the grid. So that's something new to check out if you like Sudokus. All right.
I actually also have to look up what a nonogram is. I have never heard that.
So we have Rachel from Denmark, Ramona from Switzerland, Robert from Sweden, Sammy from the USA, Saskia from Estonia, and Saskia from Germany. And just want to mention, Robert is starting up the new Swedish online competitions called Puzzle Rush. You can check out his Instagram, puzzlerush.se, or the same as the website. And he's offering, a couple of, so he's already got some competitions planned out until December. And there's also including a 1,000 piece puzzle as well as a mystery piece count. So I'm going to do the 1,000 piece and the mystery piece count.
The mystery piece count sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, Treffel has these random ones. I'm wondering, and I mean, there's Treffel are bringing out these ones with like 650 pieces and things like that, or there are other companies.
The ones with the wonky piece shapes as well.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that have these weird shapes, I
and
think.
then you have like crypt things. I'm sure there are other brands that have random numbers. So yeah, I mean, I've actually thought about doing that myself. I've often seen some wacky numbers, and I thought, maybe I could use this one, but then I end up having other ones to put in. So we're seeing a lot of, I like how Ramona has done a bit of pre-sorting. You can see she's got like the C pulled out, there's a greenish area, and it's got some of the purplish ones lined up.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of people are pulling out some colors at least. It might also be a little bit of a strategy to like win some time to make up your actual strategy, to just pull out similar colors. Just to get a little bit of handle of things, to not get too overwhelmed with what you're doing at first. Bring some order into the puzzling. But people are making great progress already.
Yeah, I actually have to thank Yamina for this. So when I went to the toy fair, I bumped in to Yamina and her husband. They are from, I've forgotten the name now. It's Spanish. They run a Spanish blog covering all the activities in Spain and doing reviews. And they were there at the fair. And she had been there twice before, and so she actually told me, go check out this brand, because I searched for all the companies that had puzzle in the name, and obviously this one is a board game. So there are actually a lot of board game companies that are now producing their own puzzle line. And so I would not have found this because this was not on my radar, and I'm very thankful that she sent me to their stand, because we're going to put some of the other puzzles into the shop. We have some really lovely 1,000 piece puzzles from them, very fantasy-like, really. Yeah, they have a really good choice of artwork, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the image definitely looks very whimsical and nice.
Yeah, they also have like the closest thing I've seen to a puzzle twist. So they have 1,000 piece puzzles where the image on the box is like the before image, and then you have to imagine in a couple of minutes later what happens. And then, so I've done one of them, and it's similar to a puzzle twist from the concept. All right, we also have on screen Selma from Sweden, Similia from France, Smilla from Sweden, Steffi B from Germany, Stein from Belgium, and Tamar from the Netherlands.
Yes, Tamar has pretty much the entire frame already done, and there's also some like bluish things on the side. I guess that's water from the image that is already like blending in from the edge. So it's definitely a lot of people are working from the frame to the inside, which seems like a reasonable strategy to follow at the moment. Steffi is doing amazing. Like there's already the skyline is done, and it seems like she's working the puzzle upside down, if I am not mistaken. And it looks like
No, the clouds at on the bottom.
I can't see the name.
The bottom border is blue clouds, and the top.
The bottom border is also blue clouds.
Yeah, blue clouds, and the top border is white clouds.
Aha! So that's why I keep thinking that people are doing the puzzle upside down, but then no. Because I don't have the entire image in front of me. Like I have only seen it in like the Google chat window and like what you have shown. So yeah, that's actually pretty tricky. That's quite nice.
So I'm going to put the name in the YouTube chat, and yeah, you can check it out. So it's called Chateau from Iello. But yeah, everyone's doing great here. Looking very similar at this stage. Lots of borders and lots of clouds. So yeah, maybe it was just me, just because I like busy images. So I was like, oh, look, there's a spider. Oh, look, there's an angel, and there's the dragon. So I was really tempted to, yeah, not do it like one section at a time. I did jump around a bit.
Mm-hmm. It seems like this could be a good puzzle, especially for Andrea Peng, with the pick and place method of just like having the frame and then starting to fill in these little details, especially as you were saying that there's like a lot of little things that you can discover in the picture. So I'm pretty excited to see like how people are going around this one.
Yeah, so for every so on the maze itself, not only are there little figurines everywhere that you have to interact with, but there are also symbols. So there's little purple symbols everywhere, and that is more like if you do tend to look at the box, or if you like to find details on the box, you will need to use that skill for this one, because it's, yeah, as I said, you can't really just kind of intuitively feel like, oh, I think this one kind of goes here. Like they are very specifically. There's only one of each. There's like a flame and a treasure chest and a feather and an eye, things like that. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes when people like move in from towards the center, where people will build on the maze part.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, because so far the strategies seem to be very similar to each other. So most people, as I'm looking through like everyone puzzling, most people started with the frame.
Yeah, I can see that Veronica. Hold on, did I even mention these people? Okay, on screen.
No, we haven't. Yeah, we haven't yet pointed out who is on the screen now.
Okay, we have Tobias from Sweden, Valentina from Belgium, Veronica from Slovakia, Vroni from Switzerland, Zana from Latvia, and Tammy from USA. So if you look at Veronica's screen, she's there now at the top right. You can see she started to pull out where the orange maze meets the white clouds. You can start to see like this little mountain forming. It is a little bit of a mountain, so maybe quite fitting to tonight's guest interview, Anami, who climbed Mount Everest. So here everybody is climbing a mountain, a maze of a mountain to reach the top. All right. But yeah, let's see how everybody else is getting on.
Let's move on to the next couple of people, yes. It is definitely a fun puzzle to do, and I'm wondering how like the board game afterwards looks. Have you tried the game itself once the puzzle is complete?
I haven't, but my husband and my son did it.
They have done it already.
Yes. So they had to do it a few tries before they kind of figured out like what works and what doesn't work. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's not something you would do multiple times. Like once you've solved it, I think you wouldn't probably solve it again. It's more just like a fun twist on the puzzle as opposed to it being a game in itself. So all of their puzzles, so actually most of their puzzles have some kind of twist. So they have a range where there's also another one that's like a maze with some cards in it. They have the before and after, so like the puzzle twist images where the image doesn't match the box. And they also have, oh, I think there was a third version. And then they have some regular puzzles with like some really amazing artwork on them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have Alejandro and from Spain, but I think he's in Norway. I think he told me that he's in Norway for a trip. So that's why we're seeing an unusual environment with a round table. But wow, he's doing amazing there. He's done the top white clouds and he's done the purple clouds at the bottom. So I think that's the most progress we've seen so far.
He is doing super quick, yes.
Yeah, we also have Amber from New Zealand, Andrea from the United States, Angelica from Germany, Anna from Cyprus, and Anami from Switzerland.
And yes, as I was expecting, there you can see like some little details that Andrea has already put into like the picture itself, which doesn't connect to the frame. So there's a little bit of a different strategy now that we can see.
Yeah, actually, Andrea's done something pretty clever. So on this part here, there's like the shadow. It's like a purplish shadow. So everywhere else is orange. And then on one side, on the left-hand side of the image, you have like this kind of purplish magenta, kind of like the left side of that fortress. Maybe fortress is a good word for this. And yeah, so she's already pulled that out. That's what you can see built on the sides, as well as that that small section of green water. But I like how she's kind of, she's connected the bottom clouds all the way up to the sea, and then now she has like boxed in the left trees. So you have on the left and the right, you have trees. So not only is the maze itself orange, but you also have orange trees, just to throw in a bit more orange in there.
In the meantime, Anami also looks like she's building in the picture already. So we have like, as far as I can see, she has a lot of like darker pieces in there as well. So probably similarly to Andrea, she's pulling out those darker parts to build around those as well. But she also has a lot more pieces like flying around in the frame. So there is some kind of a strategy going on there.
Yeah, I think she's pulled out the dragon. I see some reddish pieces there.
And yes, we're seeing some really, really great progress around here.
So we also have Birgit. Oh, that looks lovely. Birgit's outside in her garden with a glass of wine.
Oh, that's a nice way to puzzle.
Oh, and the sun is setting in the background. Well, I hope she has enough light. So I hope the light stays long enough for her. Well, it's 7:20 and the sun goes down in 2 hours. It should be fine. Then we have Cameron from Canada, Camilla from France, Catherine from United States, Cecile from France, and Christina from United Kingdom.
Yes, also here we see most of the frame being formed by everyone. And I am actually super jealous of how Birgit is doing with the garden and the wine. That's the best way to puzzle, really.
It makes me thirsty just looking at it. So.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that does look like a lovely way to spend an evening. And Cecile,
and also finally the weather is good enough to do that.
Yeah, no, this is the first hot day in Germany, like hot days. So I think everyone's taking the opportunity to enjoy some sun. Cecile has a red background. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she goes when she gets down to the oranges. But at least it's a darker red and not so more like a orangey red. So she still has a lot of contrast. At least it's really good for the white pieces that she has right now. Yeah, Catherine's also doing a great job, done the clouds, as is Camille and Cameron. Yeah, so a lot of people have done those clouds. And yeah, Birgit loves to sort, and we've seen she's working, well, she's actually doing her puzzle upside down. She's doing the white part first, and then maybe she's going to flip that around.
Yeah, everyone doing great progress here. Also with Catherine's sorting, it looks pretty nice from above, that you can see like the just white pieces being sorted completely to her left, and then everything else is on the right. It actually looks pretty good on her table.
So now up to the C's and D's and E's. All right, we have Daniela from Germany, Daniela from the Netherlands, Dora from Switzerland, Ekaterina from Russia, Ellen from the Netherlands, and Amelia from Finland.
Yes, we're also seeing some great progress here. Most people are working from the outside in. And here, like the inside of the puzzle still seems pretty clean. We don't see many pieces being scattered around in the middle. So it is definitely a good way to go around this puzzle this way, to like build from the outside in.
Yeah,
And
although
it seems to be working out for a lot of people. Sorry?
Ekaterina has also done that reddish purplish left side of the fortress, which Andrea had done. So you can see that really, it's almost like a lightning bolt going through her puzzle pieces. But she has all her puzzle pieces really close, whereas the others have kind of got a clear frame, empty in the middle, and the pieces off to the side. So, but
yeah, for her, it seems like the puzzle is like growing from the bottom to the top.
yes, it's kind of looking really good there. Yeah, so Amelia is, don't know if she's live streaming tonight, but often she's live streaming. I know Kati is live streaming, so you can check out Twitch if you want to get a closer look at how they're getting on. And yeah, let's see who else is here.
Yes, this is a pretty exciting puzzle to watch. It looks really, really good. Just on like everyone's table. It's like super colorful, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is that for most people, this will be a first look, first attempt. And yeah, because it's not as well known as, yeah, like Ravensburger Schmidt Cherry Pazzi. So we might even see some yeah, basically it's anyone's game. Okay, we also have Eva from Poland, Fleur from the Netherlands, Franziska from Germany, Frederica from Czech Republic, Frida from Germany, and Graham from the UK. And yeah, Graham replied that he plays Puzzle Tetris, the game of fitting an ever-increasing number of jigsaw puzzles into a finite amount of space.
That's actually a pretty exciting idea, Puzzle Tetris. But I wonder if you have to build the building blocks first and then start filling in.
No, that's just him in his house. Andrea said something similar, that it's the puzzle of where to fit all the stacks of puzzles in my house without them becoming tripping hazards for my family. Yeah, so we can see that Francisca has started to work on the trees on the right-hand side. So the trees do have a different texture. You could also see it in the poster quite well. It's kind of like this, yeah, yellow. It's almost like flames, yellow, pink, orange, blotchy colors, textures, but they also have, like, you can quite clearly see the branches. So you can see which way the trunk and the branches are going, so you don't have them upside down. So it does look a bit intimidating because there's just so much orange, but I think... yeah, it's the trees, I would say, were not as hard as
there seems
expected.
to be like contrast between the orange parts. So there are different sections. Even though, like, how was your experience? Like how easy it is to make out like the orange clouds on the side?
The orange, those are the trees. Yeah, this part, that it's trees. It has,
for me,
like,
I count them as clouds as well.
Yeah, it also has a very cloudy,
those
like,
are also orange parts.
It's a very cloudy like texture. So yeah, it's just lots of clouds. Clouds with little tree trunks in the middle. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting because we're at 26 minutes, and yeah, everyone's like kind of similar at this stage. There's no one that like super like doing something completely different or jumping ahead, but we still have a lot more people to show.
It definitely seems like this is, as you were saying, a brand that not many people know, so it's most probably a first attempt for almost everyone, which is pretty good to see, to be honest.
Yeah, I was so happy when I found this brand. I was like, oh, I have the secret, like...
I actually think that I might have one of these puzzles that I got in Hungary and the Hungarian competition that was in March. Yeah, it was, I think, a prize for something. It's 1,000 piece, and that's also like a board game in some way, but like it like builds like a story of how it is put together. I haven't looked at it properly yet because I couldn't fly it back with me the last time I was here. So I haven't looked at it yet, but I think it's this one. It's just slightly different.
Yeah, the 1,000 piece puzzles also have this shape, so they are a very unique shape. They're very, I think they made it so I don't know, maybe it's similar to like a board game box. I don't know. They have their unique style, but that's what made it extra increase the anticipation for everybody. And now we're seeing something quite different. So Hannah has tackled the inside of the maze, and you can see she's done a lot of purple rooftops. She's got some of the like the yellow boardwalks connecting, and she is holding up a piece to check with the image. And I think yeah, she's getting like the trickiest part out of the way, and that means later she's just going to fly through those clouds. Well, no pun intended. But puzzle her way flying through the clouds. Yeah, so interesting to see what Hannah from Finland is doing. We also have Hannah from the UK, Inga from the Netherlands, Iris from Denmark, Irma from Switzerland, and Eva from Czechia.
It's tricky to see with Inga's progress. I think she has a lot of the bottom done, but because of the camera angle, I can't see a lot of how she's doing. But yeah, it's definitely Hannah's strategy is very, very interesting to see, because for now, because a lot of pieces are not connected yet, they're just probably where they're supposed to be. So it looks a little bit like chaos, but it is probably making it easier to just fit things into where they're going, because like you have like an orientation point.
I feel like Vicky would be really good at this style of puzzling. You can also see
I was thinking of the same thing.
Vicky, where are you? You're in the YouTube chat.
I saw her say hello in the YouTube chat. So
yeah, so we see Inga's. We can't see what's on Inga's because of the reflection, but the pieces, the gaps are looking very similar to Hannah's. You can see like these, the big white clouds are missing, and there's lots of like little islands built and pieces placed, even if they're not connected to anything. So Hannah and Inga have a similar strategy here. So it's going to be interesting to see how they shape up. And also Eva in the bottom right hand corner, she started the sky but hasn't completed it, but she's working her way from the bottom of the maze up. So she's got that little starting platform and she's trying to build off that, and yeah, some of the left side of the fortress. So
most of the bottom also seems to be done. Her arms are mostly covering it, but the bottom blue section is all done. So there are some pretty nice chunks of the puzzle already done on her table. That's pretty nice. And then in the meantime, in the YouTube comments, Matt is saying the box format is perfect to be stable without the box further. But in the meantime, it's not ideal because not the whole image is displayed. So you kind of have to use the poster. And I am wondering if you can do it if you see the whole image on the box but just wrapped around it, or if it's a poster, or it's definitely poster. And there's Wiki, and she's a little bit sad that she's not in this round. She would probably love this puzzle, yes.
So we also have Janine from Germany. Jenny, oh, I love Jenny's view. Jenny from Finland. Then we have Jenny from the Netherlands, Jessica from United States, Jessica from Germany, and your queen from Spain. Yeah, so Jenny mentioned she likes board games that are like puzzles, at least some of the nerdiest ones. Also, there is a show on Netflix for true nerds only called Devil's Plan that has a lot of different kinds of puzzles, but not jigsaw puzzles. So if you have Netflix, you might want to check out Devil's Plan. And yeah, and Jenny H from the Netherlands said she likes geocaching, but she also does Sudokus, cryptograms, and games like Triominos, Rummy Cub, and Carcassonne. Well, this kind of feels like Carcassonne. We're kind of building a castle here.
Yeah, Carcassonne is a great game. I also love Carcassonne. I have the base game and some of the extensions actually because I loved it so much. And that's also a little bit like a puzzle, building something up. Richard says that he has watched The Devil's Plan last week and really enjoyed it. I actually have never even heard of this. Is it like one of those Black Mirror shows where you actually can interact with the show, if I understand correctly? I would have to look that up.
So we're I started at L and I'm up to the J, so we're almost through everyone, and it's 33
And we
minutes.
don't have a finisher yet.
All right, we have Jonna from Finland, Judith from Germany, Jules from Denmark, Julia from Austria. Oh, we have a few Julias. Maybe that's from Sweden. Julia from Sweden, Julia from Austria, Julie from Denmark, and Karen from Austria. Yeah,
Karin also has a lot done. And it kind of looks symmetrical at the moment.
it looks
Like also because of the image, like she's leaving out the entire castle. So the sky is being built up already. It looks pretty fun the way her puzzle is laid out so far.
But if you looked at Karen's puzzle and you didn't see the pieces, it could be a Mickey Mouse puzzle.
Kind of, yes. I was thinking the same thing.
She's got the Mickey Mouse ears.
And then Julia has done the entire sky, which like the entire block is done, which is quite a nice achievement. And then I can see the bottom blue part lying on the side. So there's a big chunk of the puzzle already done.
Yeah, and Judith's done the trees. Yeah, so you can see like there's this kind of this blotchy texture for the trees on the left and right side. So yeah, it is a symmetrical puzzle in terms of like the layers, the clouds, the trees, the water, then there's like some mountains in the background, just a small strip of mountains, and then you've got another clouds. So yeah, and a different type of image. I mean, often we see symmetrical puzzles, but it's usually like with like an animal face or yeah, something like that, as opposed to a landscape.
Yes. Vicky agrees with you. It looks like a Mickey Mouse on Guardian's Table.
All right, we have reached the end of the alphabet. We are at K, and we have Karina from Germany, Kati from Germany, and Kirsten from Germany. And Kati is doing amazing. We've got a nice over the head view look there. So she's leaving the sky for last, but she's got most of like the outer structure of the fortress done, and she's filling in those gaps, finding connections.
Yes. She still has the entire white sky left as well, but it definitely looks very promising.
All right, so I'm going to check out now who could be in the running. We're at 36 minutes.
I would definitely put Hannah and Alejandro on screen because they're pretty close to Kati. But it doesn't exactly look like that because like they have the opposite parts done. So like they have this like Alejandro has the sky done and the entire surrounding of the castle. And then Hannah is still building from the inside out. And she looks like she's making amazing progress as well.
Yeah. So Alejandro is going to work from the outside towards the middle. Yeah, so it's going to see what's going to go faster, leaving the Mickey Mouse ears of sky till the end, or working on the maze, the labyrinth. So yeah, looking really good there. So we have on screen Kati, Alejandro, Hannah, Inga, Lenka, and Andrea all doing really well. I'm also just going to check out because we actually have a lot of national champions and EJ top 10 participants in this one. So we've got about 20 people on our watch list for the top 10. So I'm just gonna jump around.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people to get through. We hope we are going to catch all top 10 finishers.
So we also have Francie and Iris.
Francie is also doing incredible.
Yeah, it looks like she's going more for like the details at this stage because she's fast on sky, so she knows she can do that sky later on, but she's tackling more of the middle section right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Iris is working her way up from the bottom. Yeah, so a lot of people are leaving the white sky till last. Interesting.
I think it depends on whether you're very much like a sky person or you're very much not a sky person. That's the two main reasons to leave the sky for the very end.
Yeah, I'm not a sky person, so I tend to try and do it early on just so that it's done and out of my way.
I'm exactly the opposite. I try to delay having to do the sky for as long as humanly possible.
So I've also
unless there's like something like very distinct on it. So there are images where like there's like a very light part in the sky as compared to like a deep blue. Like that part is like pretty nice to do, but otherwise, no, sky last.
Yeah, so if you look, so I've just added Lena Beata and Mari to the screen. Mari's looking quite similar to Alejandro. You can see on Mari's, like, it's not just a white sky. There are like, you do have like these puffy wave shapes in the sky, and there is like some greenish and pinkish shades in there, which help to define a bit. I have to say, I struggled a bit with the white sky. It wasn't. So I found the darker sky at the bottom easier just because there was more color variation and more stronger contrasts. But yeah, looking great there.
It also depends very much on how distinct the piece shape is. If like they're a little bit more rectangular and not as strongly shaped as like, you know, a cherry patsy would be, for example, that have like, you know, those very bendy pieces or very small prongs, very big prongs, stuff like that. Like if the pieces are that shape, then it also kind of makes the sky a little bit easier. But I think from what I can see here, the pieces are a little bit more rectangular, so they're not as super distinct for some of the piece shapes, I think.
Yeah, the piece shapes are more kind of more regular ribbon cut, and they're kind of like tall and skinny. So that's how I can recognize the trifle cuts, because I also have some other brands that use the trifle cut. And there's a particular piece in the top border. It has a very distinctive shape. It's like a cross, and it's quite tall and skinny. So you can also have a direction. You can see that which they're more longer towards vertically. So I've also added Nia and Olivia to the screen. They've done really well in competitions.
And then, yes, we are already past Vicky's guess for first finisher. Her guess was 39 minutes, and she says she should have looked at the picture a little bit more before guessing. And yes, it's actually, I don't know the last time when we had like an EJJ where there was no under 40 finisher.
Yeah, we had some in the flex, so somehow we did end up getting some harder ones in the flex competitions. Yeah, it has been a while since we've had a slower live competition with the fast folks around. So yeah,
it seems like this is something that is also challenging for them, which is actually kind of refreshing.
Yes, I've also added Sammy and Steffi B to the screen. So yeah, it looks like for those who are doing leaving them the fortress to the end, you kind of have like this diamond shape in the middle, and those who have the sky and the fortress, you have the Mickey Mouse ear shape. But yeah, Kati is doing amazing, and she's really like getting in all those walkways and little maze elements. I'm not sure if she's using the image so much or if she's just okay. She is.
Yeah, she is using the image. Now I could see she was looking at it for a while.
They do look really similar. Like at that point, I tried to just focus on the purple rooftops. Because there was a lot of elements that were even a lot smaller, and I just, at least the rooftops would either go like diagonally in one direction or diagonally in the other direction, and so I could kind of find where they would be placed, and then I could build off those buildings. You also have a lot of archways and just like these, kind of like lots of buildings that look like churches, I could say.
It still seems like Kati is mostly in the lead and probably the closest, followed by Hannah. Or it's hard to decide if it's Hannah more ahead or Kati. Because Hannah has most of the castle done. There's a lot of like holes that seem to be difficult for her to fill in, plus the sky. But then in the meantime, it seems like Cutty has bigger holes in the labyrinth, and then no sky yet, and also no edge yet for the sky.
Yeah, so Tobias
It'll be
is
easier to
doing...
see, or it will be exciting to see which one of them pulls ahead once there's more done.
Yeah, so Tobias is also doing great. He's also leaving the sky till later. And look, he's actually doing pretty well on the castle. I would say of the castle, okay, maybe behind Hannah. Hannah has the least gaps, but Tobias is also making a lot of headway there. You can just see single holes where one piece goes, whereas like if you look at Alejandro's, there's still like the very significant islands. But I feel like Alejandro is building off the outsides and working his way towards the middle, so that's probably why his gaps are larger, whereas Tobias is more like doing pick and place.
Yes. Alejandro's strategy also seems to work out pretty well because, yeah, the outside is complete by now. It's just that hole in the middle. It's getting close, but it's really, really hard to tell who is mostly ahead, especially because, like, they, as we were saying, they have such different ways of going around the puzzle or the image. But Cutty seems to be picking up speed now. Most of the labyrinth is already complete. There's still a couple of holes, but those are being filled in pretty quick now because there's not that many left. And after that, it's just going to be the sky. So we're going to have to see how quick the sky goes once everything is filled in. It is an exciting strategy now.
Yes, if we look at the number of pieces left, it looks like Inga and Hannah only have those Mickey Mouse ears left. So what is that? Maybe less than 40 pieces of sky. Okay, Inga is ready to go. She's twisted her puzzle. It's sideways now. She's really close to it, and she is gonna fly through those ones. All right. Hekati is the same, twisted her puzzle, so she's got access to the right. And Hannah as well. Okay, here we go. Game is on.
Here we go. Now it's getting exciting.
Yes, now we're on the home stretch.
We can see how long it takes for people to finish just the sky. Cotty is doing very quickly with the edge at the moment, but it seems like it is posing kind of a challenge because Inga is filling in spots incredibly fast now. And it's pretty much head-to-head with Hannah. So she's going super fast about it, but there's a lot of trial and error on both sides. So they are picking up a lot of pieces. It seems like they are placing it, but it's not that many pieces finding their places yet. In the meantime, Cutty is finishing the edge. So there is a little bit of head-to-head here. It's super exciting to compare them next to each other now.
Yeah, so we've got Ekati, Hannah, and Inga going strong on the sky. We have Alejandro and Mari doing the castle. But Alejandro has less pieces than Mari. Okay.
Alejandro is sneakily having a very little amount of pieces because he has the entire sky already done. So it really depends on how quick he can be about filling in the details as compared to people who only have the white sky left. So this is definitely very, very exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which strategy pays off. Yeah, castle first or last?
Yes. It's a really good comparison. So I didn't think that it would be this different of how people go around it, but now it's turning very, very exciting. And then I wonder how much, like, if they did this, like, depending on personality of what is quicker for whom. If it was really a good choice to leave it for the end, whichever way they went around it, or if it actually buys them more time. Inge is filling in a lot of pieces. He maybe has like 25 left. In the meantime, Andrea is also doing great. She's finishing up the labyrinth, and very soon she will also only have the sky. And then Hannah is filling in the sky very quickly as well, but Kati seems to be pulling ahead at the moment. Like, she's picking up speed quick. And then in the meantime, Alejandro also has somewhere around 20 pieces left. This is extremely close. Andrea has also flipped the image now, and she's filling in just the sky from here on. There is a question of if they shape sorted the sky, but it seems like nobody has been shape sorting the sky so far. They're just trial and erroring. And yeah, Hannah seems to have slowed down a little bit. Kati is still picking up a little bit of speed, but it seems like it is definitely slowing them down a lot, while Alejandro is very much pulling ahead, because he only has like the details, and those seem to go slightly faster than trial and erroring the sky. So we're going to have to see if it's going to pay off for Alejandro to build from the outside.
I'm really curious to see how Lenka goes, because she only has a few gaps that she has to fill in, single gaps in the fortress, and then she's already done part of the sky, so she has smaller gaps. She doesn't have to do complete sky, so then she could very quickly catch up to Kati, Inga, and Hannah once she's, so now she's focusing in. Okay.
Yeah, the white sky is definitely tripping people up. It is going slower than everything else so far. Alejandro seems to be gaining some advantage because it seems like he has a little bit less pieces, but then in the meantime, Inge is getting super fast there. But it's not exactly visible how many pieces she has left and how much she has completed. She is shape sorting now. Now she has come to the point where she was shape sorting.
Well, I wish
seems
I
like
wish
now
I could
it's
shape sort that quickly.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting to see how she goes about shape sorting. And now, in the meantime, while she was shape sorting, Alejandro has still placed a couple more pieces. And then Kati is building a part of the sky outside of the frame now. Everybody is going around the trial and error very differently. And then in the meantime, Hannah is closing up one gap pretty quickly. But she still has a lot of pieces, and Alejandro seems to be the most reliable one in the sense that he's pretty much picking up pieces and just placing them, as opposed to everybody else who is doing the sky and trial and erroring.
Yeah, I think Alejandro has this, not only from the number of pieces, but just because he can use the image to know where to place it.
Yes, exactly.
But then
now,
after that,
it seems like it goes quicker than the sky.
But then second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are going to be really close.
Yes, exactly. It seems like it pays off to do the sky first at the moment, because while everyone is struggling with just one color, Alejandro is just putting in one piece after the other. There's only 4 left. There's still some in his hands, and almost done. Yeah, here he pulled ahead very much. Done. Congratulations.
Congrats,
There it is.
Alejandro.
Yay. This was really exciting to see.
Well, I'm only 11 minutes off first place. Well, I don't feel so bad. It's probably my best placement ever. Being 10 minutes away from first place. Usually I'm 20 minutes away.
First finisher is actually 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's definitely a challenging puzzle.
This is interesting.
That was quite phenomenal to see. And then for the rest of the podium places and probably top 5, we only have people doing the sky.
And everybody has like 20 pieces left. So go, go, go. Kati, Hannah, Inga, Mari, Lenka, Adrian.
So and then Mari is doing the same as Alejandro. And she also only has a couple of less pieces left. And it seems like she's also picking up pace compared to the people doing the sky. But then in the meantime, Kati has maybe about 15 pieces, maybe a little bit ahead of Inge. And then Hannah also is very, very close. So this is definitely a competition between them for the rest of the podium places. But then Mari is just picking up pace more and more, just like with Alejandro. The more of the labyrinth you have done, the easier it is to fill in the gaps. So Mari is definitely picking up pace here, but I think Kati really has second place locked in by now. She has only about 6 or 7 pieces left, so super close. And then, 5 pieces left. Hannah is getting closer and closer, but Inge is also doing super fast here, and Kati's done.
Oh, congrats, Kati.
Congratulations!
Yay.
Second place.
So 2 minutes after Alejandro.
And then, yeah, now the competition is going for third place, where we have pretty much the same piece count left for Inga, Mari, Hannah, and then Andrea is very close behind them. And then who else do we still have that we have to watch out for?
Yeah, yeah, we got Tamar, who's now working on the fortress. Also have, let's check on Tobias.
Mari is pulling up
Ooh.
incredibly close to Hannah now. Hannah has not that many pieces left anymore, but it's the white pieces that are a little bit more difficult to fill in. But she only has like 4 now that are like very distinct. So those are just flying in. And third place. Congratulations!
Well done, Hannah.
Well done! Yay! And Mari is 4th, just after. Congratulations! Inga seems to be struggling with the sky at the moment. There are less and less pieces, but she is... Yes, one side is going to be closed very soon, and Andrea is picking up speed, catching up to Inga now. She also has like 2 circles of pieces left in the sky, which is filling up quickly, but Inga is definitely doing great now. One side of the sky is done. I think 5th place is going to be very close, pretty much locked in for Inga at the moment, unless I'm missing someone on the screen now. And Lenka is done.
Lenka.
Yay!
Congrats.
Congratulations.
So, first Alejandro, second Kati, third Hannah, fourth Mari, fifth Lenka. 6th place still up for grabs. So it could be Inga, Andrea. Yeah, Inga and Andrea only have like a handful left.
They pretty much have the same amount of pieces left. So this is going to be head to head. Only a couple of pieces left, and Andrea seems to be... Andrea is tricky. She already had a couple of pieces on her. Yes, there it is. Andrea, 6th place. And Inga done. Congratulations. It seems like Andrea couldn't send her done message. So Inga was actually done after Andrea, but Andrea couldn't send off her done message. So 6th and 7th place are taken now. There's still 3 spots in the top 10. So just keep going, people. There's still a spot or 2 or 3 in top 10. But yes, the first rush of finishers is already done.
Yeah, so Kati was 2 minutes after Alejandro, and then 1 minute later we had Hannah and Mari.
And yes, Andrea was asking if she lost a spot because of the computer falling asleep, and yes, unfortunately you did. So you sent your done message just after Inga. Yeah. And then Inga says that this puzzle does feel like the Velvet Touch puzzles. But I think the piece shape looks a little bit different.
I have a memory of the Velvet Touch feeling stickier.
The Velvet Touch feels very weird. I personally don't like the Velvet Touch very much because I also don't like velvet.
No, I actually did a Velvet Touch recently. Well done, Tobias. It's one of my lunchtime puzzles. Yeah, that one definitely had a different texture.
Yes, and Inga also hates the feeling. I can completely identify with you, Inga. It's the same. It's that weird feeling. It feels like it sticks to your hand.
Okay.
So Tobias was 8th. So we still have 9th and 10th place free for anyone who feels like they want to be in top 10.
So now I have to feel it. I don't think it's Velvet Touch. It feels very smooth.
Mari says Art and Fable is like this, but I don't know the brand.
Yeah,
And
Art
then
and
Veronica
Fable.
is done, 9th place.
Congrats, Veronica.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Art and Fable also uses the Truffle Factory. So yes,
I'm trying to see who else is still very close to finishing to like pin to my own screen a little bit.
so on screen I have Francisca, Anami, Lena Beata.
Anami seems to have also shape sorted here a little bit, and then she's also struggling on the sky. And then Francisca might be picking up speed here because she's very strong on sky and gradients and images like that. So she might have a little bit of advantage here. But then also Lynn Beate is also pretty close, but still has some labyrinth pieces as far as I can see. And then Tamar is also super close behind, only with some labyrinth pieces.
So we also have Tamar, Karen, and Ellen. So right now we have the top 3 are all working on the sky. The bottom 3 are all working on the fortress, on the labyrinth. Yes.
We still have a spot open in the top 10. So it will be exciting to see who's going to be the 10th.
Yeah, so we had a lot of people finishing, like 3 people finishing in the same minute, and then 2 people after that, and 2 people after that. And now we have like a little bit of a breather, like the first wave of finishers.
First wave of finishers done. But it definitely was a challenging puzzle because like it was around 50 minutes even for the first finisher. I think. Yes, now we can take a little bit of a breather, but Anami is getting super close to finishing as well. She has maybe about 15 pieces left. Almost the same as Francisca.
But Olivia, I've just put on the screen, she's only got 10 left and she's flying through that sky.
Very good. Go, Olivia. It does seem like it's between Anami and Olivia now.
But yeah, Olivia really just sped up in those in the last 2 minutes. Good job, Olivia.
Congratulations.
So.
Amazing job. We have our top 10.
Yeah, so Alejandro, if you're there, you can turn your camera on.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Florgina.
Hello.
Hi, Alejandro.
Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, first question is, have you had experience with this brand already? Or was it the first one?
First time.
And how did you find it?
It remembers a lot of how is the name? Cherry Pazzi, it's called, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes. It remembers the type of pieces and how they can go in different positions. So it has a tricky in this sense. And also the image was a little bit difficult, all the labyrinth part. So the maze part, yeah. Yes.
It was pretty interesting to see. I don't know if you were listening to the stream while you were puzzling or not.
No,
but you chose a completely different strategy than everybody else in the top 5.
Wow.
which was very exciting to see, because the way you went around it, that you already had the sky done and working on the labyrinth, while everyone else in the top 5 left the sky part for the very end. And so it was pretty exciting to see that while everyone slowed down on the sky, you picked up speed with the labyrinth. Was that like a strategy that you were thinking of the entire time, or did it just happen that way?
I had clear ideas that for me it will be more easy to do all the sky, the trees, all this part, and the maze part for the last one. So I knew that I will have problems with all these details. So yeah, my idea was, okay, try to do everything that not contains the maze. So all the sky, including the white pieces that are a little bit difficult, but can be done. Luckily, I had good illumination, good light, so I could distinguish some yellow, some brown, some green, and in this sense, was not too much difficult compared to the maze. So I believe for me it's the best possible strategy for myself.
Mm. And then, how is your thought process when you encounter a picture like that? Like you went through of like the sky is the most difficult part to like put it together and then go into the details. Like, do you come up with the strategy while flipping, or as you start working?
Yeah, in this sense, I usually have the strategy when I'm flipping. So in this sense, I knew that I will start with the bottom part, which more or less is the most easy ones, these blues clouds. Then I had some problems trying to identify at the time that I was flipping the pieces, the difference between the trees and all maze is kind of orange. So I started doing the top part, the white clouds. And then, yes, I was totally in that point that I knew that I had to put some effort with the maze. So I decided to do the trees before.
Mhm.
And then when I did the maze, I did a lot of sortings. None of them was really good, I believe, because I tried to sort the different colors. So, for example, the purples, the dark and the dark purple, the other ones, and all this kind of stuff. But I was not really able to perform this sorting. So I believe this is like a typical puzzle that you have to try and put the piece, see if it goes to the right position or not, and do this thing all the time.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a puzzle that you have to be an all-rounder for. There's like a very busy area and then a very like sky gradient-y
Yeah,
area.
exactly.
And then have you been puzzling a lot lately? Because I think Michelle was mentioning that you're traveling again somewhere.
Yeah, today I'm in Oslo, in Norway. I'm spending here the week. So yeah, I don't have so much time for puzzles, but luckily I have a space in my suitcase. So I found that this apartment has this beautiful table. So I believe it was one of the best places I've ever puzzled, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the living room has like great windows. Here, as I am in Norway, the light is today until 11:30, so it's really nice. Yeah, in this sense, I believe the conditions help me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does seem like an advantage to have so much light still.
Honestly, yes. For this puzzle, I totally feel it when I was doing the white clouds, that I was able to distinguish between different colors.
Mm-hmm. And then are you planning with more EJJs during the summer? Like, do you have any summer plans that are like related to puzzling?
Yes, and luckily I will not be able to go to the European Jigsaw Puzzle. That was something that I had on mind, but I have other trips to Austria, to Istanbul, so I won't be able. But yeah, as in this sense, European Jigsaw Puzzles give me the opportunity to do it from everywhere, every place I am. My intention is, well, I have asked Michelle, send me information, and I have already been registered with 5 or 6 EJJs. So this will be also my way to train for the world. So it will be nice.
Yes. And then it's actually pretty close to the Worlds already. If I think about it, it's only about 2.5 months and it's already Worlds. Do you have any specific training plan that you're already implementing, or just puzzling as much as you can?
Yeah, I believe until August, July, it will be an awful month with this kind of trips and work. But luckily with the EJJs, I will be able to at least do some puzzles during the week. And yeah, I believe in August, I will take some vacations, some holidays, and I will go to my grandparents' village. There I am totally relaxed. I have all the day to be at home, and yeah, that's always my plan. So I spend at least 2 or 3 weeks relaxed and keep and use this time to train for the Worlds.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something that can help to have like a little bit of time to relax, especially since you're traveling so much. Is it all conferences and work?
Yeah. Today it's a conference that I had here, and the next ones in Austria, Switzerland, and Istanbul. There are European projects, so some meetings that once or 2 times in a year they usually do it in person, and usually they do it in these dates because it's when more people have more free time in some point. So usually June, July, January are months that I have plenty of projects and some works.
Yes. And then I'm trying to see if you have answered the question that we have asked in the forum. But you
Yes,
said
I did.
monograms and crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
So then
did,
describe
I did.
monograms, please, of what they are.
Nonograms, it's difficult. It's like you have a matrix of you have a matrix, and on the left and on the top positions you have like different numbers that tell you how many squares you can paint and goes together. So you have to think about keep the different spaces, and I have an app on my mobile, so I usually play it on my mobile. Maybe it's best idea to share. So I don't know if it goes to see properly, but it's kind of this. So you have
so then it turns into a picture.
Exactly. There are two kinds, the typical white and black, so you only have to paint all the black position numbers, and there are also with different colors that helps more, and you can obtain different images. Yes.
Can you hold it up to the camera again? Sorry, you were small. I've made you bigger now.
Oh, yes. 1 moment.
Yeah, so then everyone on YouTube can also see what it is.
Yeah.
Might be something for others.
Here I put one that maybe it's easy. So for example, here there are 4. I know that, for example, 3 of them should be in this position because the other one will be here or here. Then as here we have 5. We can paint all these 5, and then you have to think in this sense 3, 3, 2. So as here we have 1 and 2, here must be a space. Then we have here 2, so you have to paint. This is more or less the point, and then you have to think again. So we have, I'm not looking, it's difficult. We have 3 here, so this is only position. We have also 3 here, so this cannot be. And then as I have 2, this cannot also be 3 and 4. So usually this is the kind. You have help, so if you put something wrong, then it can tell you in some time that you are wrong, but it's like you have to think about the combinations, the possibilities, the spaces that you have to think. And I love math, so as an engineer, I love counting numbers, and in this sense, it helps a lot to relax a little bit during the train or something like that.
It seems a little bit like a Sudoku, but with like outside help, like the help being outside the grid, while in Sudoku, you work inside the grid only.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And it's nice because I have not here, because I have to install the app, but on the past I had some nonogram solved that were really beautiful images and were so nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It might be something for everyone else to try. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michelle, did you still have anything that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so last year you did a puzzle of my puzzle. So one time on Instagram, I shared a picture of a puzzle where I was still working on the sky, and I had all these pieces shape sorted. And then you took a picture of my puzzle, and you tried to fill it out just using your brain, like what would fit. What made you do that? Like, is that something you do, like when you just see a puzzle when you're like already mentally like trying to figure out like which piece shape goes there, like you can remember the piece shapes? Or
Yeah, some kind. I remember that I did it when I was in Italy for another work project or travel. And yeah, in the free time, I like to do this kind of things. So nonograms, puzzles. I don't really like do puzzles in the mobile. I know that there are different apps, but for me it's not the same. But in this sense, I try to do these mental problems, and usually I have the help of my parents. So my parents are doing puzzles at home. So at some point, I ask them for a photo of the progress, and I ask them to show me the rest of pieces, and I can try to solve it mentally. And in your case, yeah, it was curious because I was looking the stories. I see your story and was like, oh, that's a perfect image when you can see all the remaining pieces in perfect condition. So I thought that maybe it could be interesting to try to solve it.
yeah, I think that must be really good training. I mean, when you've done Ravensburger, I don't know how many hundreds of Ravensburger that you've done, so you must have like can you remember the pieces? Like, do you have when you're seeing the pieces, do you recognize a lot of them and you know, oh, that goes in that corner just based on the piece shape?
No, not really. Not at this point. I believe that's something that I've been thinking a lot, and I believe that in the future it will happen. So I'm pretty sure that people will be able, of course, not to know the 500 pieces, but most of them in some positions that it will help a lot. But it's not my case, to be honest. I have good memory for some things, but in this sense, I tried some time to try to analyze and see the Ravensburger positions pieces, but otherwise that one piece that it's always, I believe, that has no, that it's everything with holes and goes in one corner. Otherwise than that, I don't know.
Yeah, but so for fun, you can get a picture of your parents' puzzle and try to mentally piece it together.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's relaxing for you. Yeah. Oh, great. Well, yeah, enjoy your time in Oslo. Don't forget that you have an extra game. So when you have some spare time, you also can use the cards and have a different puzzle. There you can solve the maze. You can solve the labyrinth. Yeah. Thanks so much, Alejandro, and congratulations.
Thank
you, Christina.
Bye. Yeah, so we've had a lot of finishes now. We're up to 26 finishes on screen, and who's going to be finishing in the next few minutes? Jonna, Stein, Valentina, Janine, Stephanie, and Robert. So yeah, looking at it's like it's either the sky or the fortress. We haven't really seen people finishing on the purple clouds or finishing on the trees. At least
those
I've
were
noticed.
definitely parts that were jumping out for everyone as they were starting out. So it's mostly as the labyrinth and the sky. I can see that Stein is finishing the sky now, and then Steffi is filling in parts of the labyrinth and part of the sky.
Yeah, so we are at 1 hour 16 minutes. Before we bring in our guest, I'd just like to read out some of the comments that we received. So a few people said they like Rubik's Cubes. That's also a different type of puzzle, a puzzle-like game.
It definitely is. And it is a Hungarian invention.
Oh, really?
It's from Hungary.
Is Rubik the name of the person who invented it?
Yes, Ernő Rubik is the inventor of the Rubik's Cube.
And now I've seen so many versions of them. Like we have like the typical 3x3. Then you have the what was it? 5x5s, and then I've seen ones that are in hexagon shapes. And at the toy fair, I saw ones that were like giant 100 by 100 like crazy stuff. But yeah, that's also takes a specific type of brain to manage that.
That's something I, for example, was never able to learn. I just can't wrap my head around a Rubik's Cube. But yeah, it is pretty fun to watch like these Rubik's Cube competitions, if you have ever seen any of them, of like the fastest solves, which is just insane to see.
Yeah, those are incredible. It's like 6 seconds or something, the world champions.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah, so people who like Rubik's Cubes include Olivia, Emilia, Joaquin, and Maria TB. Something that was also mentioned is group detective games from Elena in Germany, where you try to solve a story together, or like in Cluedo with everyone who's there. Yeah, sounds like a bit like those murder mystery dinners. That's something I would like to have. I would like to try a murder mystery and try and solve the puzzle with the people in the room.
There used to be one of like I'm not sure if it was like super common, but when I was like a child, teenager, whenever we were at like summer camps or things like that, there were these games where you had like, for us it was always a village and a werewolf, and then in each round there would be a werewolf that goes around and then infects some people, and then you had to find the werewolves and find like the protectors of the village and stuff like that. Like it was also kind of a murder mystery, and it's a group game, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that's quite common for like group activities. Sometimes my daughter says, "Oh, like the teacher was for some reason sick," and I said, "Okay, so what did you do in your class today?" "Oh, we played whatever the game is called in German. In English, we called it Wink Murder or something like that."
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, what? So yeah, we just sat with the whole class. We just played, Wink Murder or whatever it's called, werewolves. So yeah, that's also a more social aspect, because not all of these are very social. Most of them are for doing yourself. And something else that somebody mentioned, Amber from New Zealand said she likes the puzzles, those puzzles that are wires, blocks, and strings, and you have to get them apart. Also fascinated with puzzle boxes, but it's hard to find good ones in New Zealand, so I watch Chris Ramsey on YouTube solving them. So that's also very interesting. Yeah, there's also these puzzle. Yeah, like if you go to the puzzle section of a toy store, you will find these, these games with like wooden blocks, and you have to like separate them or like put them together.
Yeah, but I'm, for example, always like very scared to get one of them, because like I would be super disappointed if I get it and can never take it apart and then put it back together again. So like I have avoided those.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like that there's kind of a lot of games that border on puzzle like as a child. When we had the Sega Master System, which is one of the first video game home consoles, while my brother was better at like the games where you have like, which you need a lot of coordination for, running, jumping, collecting items. Like I was really terrible at that. I just didn't have the hand and eye coordination. But what I was good at was columns, which was, I guess, the closest what you have these days is something like Candy Crush, where you have to line up the pieces. And for me, and I also really enjoyed Tetris. So those types of games.
Tetris is fun. Tetris is very fun.
All right, so we just had another few finishes. Stephanie K, Maria R, and Yona K. And Cecilia as well.
We have 36 finishers so far.
Yeah. So yeah, Anime, if you're there, you can turn on your camera.
Hello.
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 So nice to see you.
Same. It was the first time I was listening the whole live stream today.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to like not listening to the music, and then I forgot about it, and then I heard you talking about the tactics on the puzzle, and I was like, I have to switch, like put down the volume to listen to you. So thank you. It was really nice to listen to. Maybe because everyone was slow today. Or not slow, but like the puzzle was tricky.
Yeah, like it took like even the top 3 was was, I think, at 50 minutes, which is like rare these days.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm always proud when I'm closer to them, especially when it takes them long. And I was really surprised when I was finishing, and I was like, "Oh, I'm 11th." I expected something totally different when I saw the puzzle. Yeah, it's nice. And now I know actually that Alejandro plays the same games on his handy, like on his smartphone, like me.
Really? So you also do the nonogram game?
Oh yeah, I love them, and I did a lot of them the past 2 months. And I don't know if he mentioned it. There is also monograms with colors. It's not only black and white, and I prefer them because it's like more challenging because you don't have the space. Like with the black ones, you always have a space in between the blocks, and with colors, you don't have a space between different colors. So you have to think a little bit more. Yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah, I really recommend it for everyone. It's really nice.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely convinced that I'm most probably going to be downloading a nonogram app very soon.
But it will be more than a week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about mountains.
I first have to say, like my unicorns want to say hello to all the Lucky Charms there, especially the ones from my sister. They told me I have to say this, and yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good, like, pathway to like the main conversation.
Yeah.
Are these the unicorns that traveled with you?
Yeah, 2 of them. The third one is at my boyfriend's house. He has to take care of the rats. We have 5 pet rats, and he like missed them, so he wanted to be there. So it's only the 2 small ones, but yeah, it's 2 of them.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yes. What do you want to like tell us at first? Because we did receive quite a number of questions, but I kind of want to let you talk first.
Yeah, so I don't know where to start actually. I like puzzling. I brought 5 puzzles to base camp because I thought I might be bored at some time, but I actually just did 1. And I really missed it, but I didn't feel like doing it because I knew I'm going to be slow. I will not time it. And like, it's so hard to not time puzzles anymore when you used to speed puzzling. Yeah. So maybe we start with life at base camp.
First of all, for those who don't know what a base camp is, what is a base camp?
Yeah, so like talking from Everest, it's like the camp you hike to, and which is your base, like your home for whatever length your expedition is. So you have your own tent. Everyone has an own tent, and then you have a dining tent, and you basically hike or walk from your tent to the dining tent to eat, and then you have free time. You can do whatever you want to, and then you like have 3 meals. That's your dates you have, and other than that, you can do whatever you want to. And since it gets dark at 6 in the night and gets like bright at 5 in the morning, I always try to avoid to sleep during the night because at 8 you are in a sleeping bag. It also gets really cold. So it's your home away from home, actually. Yeah.
And then why do you have to spend so much time in base camp? So like, how does it work when someone arrives at Everest?
You try to prepare yourself to be ready when the weather is ready, which means you have to acclimatize your body, and I also realized your mind for this. So you have to, like, you arrive at base camp and then you stay 2 days to like acclimatize to this altitude. It's 5,300 meters. Don't ask me about feet. Must be like, I don't know, 15, 16,000 feet. And then when you think you have arrived, like you don't breathe very heavy anymore when you go to pee, for example, or when you talk, then you try to go higher up so that your body starts to physically adapt to the altitude. So it builds more red blood cells to transmit more oxygen, because at that altitude, you don't have that much oxygen. So your body has to breathe more to get the same amount of oxygen as on like 329, like where I live. And you do that like in steps. So first you go up 1,000 meters, you spend a night there, or 2 nights is even better. And then you go back to base camp to recover. And then you go up again, and then you try to go higher up. So for me, it was like 7,000 meters. And if you have time and you want to carry a lot of stuff, you can also sleep at 7,000 meters, which I didn't do. Also because the camp at 7,000 meters wasn't really ready. There were like 4 tents there and nothing to cook. And like my Sherpas would have had to carry a lot of stuff, and they already carry all the time, like very much. And then you go back to base camp, and then you wait for the weather. In hope that the weather window will come. And the weather is like they have monsoon in India, and like it's very easily explained because I'm not a meteorologist, but like the wind pushes the clouds to the Himalaya, and then when the monsoon comes, the wind like turns around and then pushes the clouds from the northern side. And when this thing happens, like the turnaround, the wind on Everest will come down. And then it's possible to go up there, because normally they have like 100K per hour or even more. And you don't want to be up there with this wind. So you kind of wait for the wind to drop, and best have also like sunny weather. No clouds, nor precipitation, like no snow, because then it's also dangerous. And if these 2 things happen, then you can go up. But going up takes 4 days. So
wow.
to know before, like I knew like 6 days before I was on the summit, I had the information that the forecast is good. So I packed everything. We discussed the last details. I left my tent like at 2 in the afternoon to like recover and then leave the tent at midnight for my summit attempt. And then in the afternoon, like the weather forecast changed so much so that at 6 we didn't really know what to do. And then we decided to wait. And that was actually the worst thing. Like I was packed, I was ready to go. I like opened my mind for whatever comes. And then during dinner, it was like, maybe we shouldn't go. We should stay 2 more days. And I was like, it was not possible for me to like process this. So it was a lot of tears. And I didn't know what to do. Like I was just sitting there trying to read like my 8th or 9th book. So that was hard. That was really hard. So that's also a thing. These guys were helping. So I was like laying in my sleeping bag, just cuddling with them and trying to stay positive. However,
Yeah. And then once you actually got the get-go sign and you could set off for the peak, how did that go? So like starting out.
Yeah, so then you hike climb, hike, whatever, hike up to Camp 2 directly, which is in 6,500 meters. And normally you go on the next day from Camp 2 to Camp 3, and then the day after from Camp 3 to Camp 4. And we like left base camp 1 day too early, just to be in Camp 2 in case the weather changes, so that we could spend the rest day in Camp 2 if the weather stays, or if the weather changes again, we could go up. Or if in icefall something happens, that we are not like caught in base camp, because in May the weather gets more warm during the day, and the icefall is like you walk through the glacier, and we all know glaciers move. We all know glaciers are ice. So when the sun hits the glacier, it gets warm. So parts of the route could break, and you don't want to be in base camp, and you know the weather window is great at the summit, but you can't go through the icefall. That's why we went to Camp 2 1 day early. I spent 1 rest day there, eating a lot of popcorn and sitting around waiting for, I don't know, something. And then the next day you go up to Camp 3, and there, like, you stay there, and then you, like, at Camp 3 in the morning, I think at 5, we left Camp 3 to go to Camp 4. And Camp 4 is like in the middle of the death zone. So it's around 8,000 meters. And you arrived, like I arrived there maybe at 2 o'clock or at 1 o'clock. And then you try to recover, you try to eat something, try to drink something, maybe sleep. And then you leave camp in the evening to go to the summit. And then when you reach the summit, you go back to Camp 4, you pack all your stuff, and then you go back down to Camp 2, like as low as possible. So I left Camp 4 for the summit at 8:30 in the night, like evening. Reached the summit at 8. So it took me around 11 and a half hours to go to summit. And then we came back to Camp 4 4 hours later. And one of my Sherpa was like tired as hell. So he kind of fell into the tent and fell asleep immediately. So the other one had to cook water because I used oxygen, and oxygen dries out your body. And I only drank like 3 deciliter, like the whole 16-hour trip. And then you just have to drink. So they brought some snow, melted it on the cook, like the gas cooker thing. And then we tried to drink, and then the second Sherpa fell asleep too. So I was the only one awake. And I was like, I don't want to fall asleep because I know, I don't know if I wake up, like my mind wakes up good enough to be able to go down. So I was sitting there and like solving crosswords actually. Yeah, and then after 3 hours, we packed our stuff and went down to Camp 2, and we arrived Camp 2 at 10 in the night. So it was like 26-hour round trip without sleep. Yeah. And then the next day, like the last day of the trek, you climb down from Camp 2 to base camp. Or if you have money, you can also have a helicopter which brings you down. It only costs $6,000.
Nice. Very nice.
2-minute ride. Yeah, but for me, it was not an option. But it was like this, it was 6 hours, and it was a hell of 6 hours because we left camp late and sun hit the glacier. I heard a lot of cracking around me. And my Sherpas each carried 60 kg. We were like tired, of course. They needed breaks like every 15 minutes. It was hot. And like one anchor fell out. So one of my Sherpas also fell down a vertical wall. Yeah, with his bag. Thank God he fell on his backpack. So he only had like a rip that hurt him a lot. And like his arm was a little bit scratched. And I was like thanking God when I arrived base camp at 1 and my Sherpas arrived it half an hour later. I was like, at one point I asked them, can I just go? Because I just can't make another break. Because I tried to carry everything I could down. It was only 15 kg, but it was like, helped my Sherpas a little bit because they didn't have to carry, but like my shoulders hurt, my feet were hurting as hell. I just wanted to be safe. So I kind of ran back to the base camp, said thank you to the goddess there, and was waiting for my Sherpas to be there. And then like I could be happy. So that was one of the questions what I felt on summit. So on summit, I started to cry because I was there. And yeah, like I was dreaming of it for 28 years. And then it's like when you realize it's 5 minutes away from you, I just can't, I can't cry. It's just like, yeah, I never thought I could do it. I really never thought. Even on the climb, I always expecting something to happen so that it won't work. And yeah, and then I was on the summit, and like for those who don't know, my dad died 3 years ago. And for me, going to the summit always means I'm closer to him, because for me, he is in heaven. And like on top of the world, like it's the closest you can ever be. So I was like there and like talking to my dad, crying, and like I didn't want to leave because leaving meant to say like final goodbye to my dad. I will never be up there. I will never be closer to him. So that was really hard for me to just like, bye, Dad. I will leave you for good now, because I always knew I would be close to him, you know.
Yes.
Then I was there, and
yes,
I knew I have to go down. And I did bring a rock from, like, I live just at a river. So I went to the river when I left for the airport. I took a little rock and I brought the rock on the summit, so that like in my mind, he could go to the rock and has something from us. And like in my mind, it's like a rock full of hugs. So whenever he needs a hug up there, he like can go there and have one, so that he knows we are still thinking of him. Yeah.
That is an extremely beautiful way to like think about it. It's very emotional.
Yeah, it was. And it's like, I try to not cry, because it's life. People die, and I saw people dying also on the mountain. So for me, it also had this meaning to go up there. So yeah, so it was also a goodbye to my dream, and another last goodbye to my dad.
Yeah, that is very, very beautiful. It is. Yeah, for whoever has lost a parent, it I think has this second meaning. My dad has also died recently. Well, no, not that recently, a couple of years ago. But yeah, it is like a beautiful goodbye. So
yeah, it's better than a graveyard
like
for
a
me.
second meaning to like this big goal that you had already.
Yeah, and his death already like made me like go for it, because I realized my life is eternal. And I talked about I didn't talk about it, but I thought about Everest so much, and I didn't dare to talk about it, because when I talked about it, like people reacted in a very negative way. Like, you want to do it, and like why, and it's a commercial mountain and you don't want your queues, stuff like that. So I actually like, it was a kick in my ass, the death of my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one
kind of also answers a couple of the questions that you that you have received, so I don't have to read those out to you.
So the why is clear. I don't know.
The why is kind of clear.
Yeah, there are more reasons, but like whoever is interested, I like can read my blog. I have a homepage. It's written there. Or just whenever you see me, say hi and ask. I'm open. Or if you have Instagram, just ask. I'm open for every question. Like for 99% of the questions, I'm very open. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty good to know. Like, we have been in touch while you were there, so like I was super excited to hear like any kind of updates that you had at any time. But yeah, I still have so many questions that I kind of want to find out. So the time that we still have left is not going to be probably enough. At one point, I'm going to also like hammer you with some questions.
That's okay.
But I am going to read out a couple of what we have received, which I think are pretty interesting. Which the first one is, why did you choose this puzzle to bring to the climb? And why did you choose to bring a puzzle at all?
Yeah, so why to bring a puzzle at all? I mean, it explains if you know me a little bit. So I was puzzling my whole life. I have a sister and a brother. They are a little bit older than me, and they didn't really like to play with me when we were kids. So I had to play something that I could play by myself. And my mom did a lot of puzzles. So I puzzled with her, and then I puzzled them by myself. So that's a love, like I would say, at first sight. And like it was nice to connect these two passions I have. Like puzzling is for me also like a mental therapy. Like for me, I focus so much on the puzzles that I forget problems, or problems that like don't seem to be as big as they are or seem before. So being able to combine these two things was really nice. And like this specific puzzle, I was thinking about it a lot. I tried, I didn't know any other brands than Ravensburger, so it was clear for me I will want to bring a Ravensburger. But like the 99 puzzles are like the pieces are very big. I have one beside me, and like I didn't know how to put them together, because then you need a flat spot, so you also have to bring a flat piece of know the name, like wallpaper, something like that. And that's also weight, and it's big, so you have to make sure it doesn't like break. And I didn't like, my first idea was to puzzle on the summit, and then it's like when it's windy you will lose puzzles. And then when Michelle won his sunshine puzzle, I don't even know how I don't know if she used it or mentioned it. And then I ordered a small sunshine puzzle, and I also like Mr. Bergerman itself. Like for me, like stuffed animals have a soul, and like a burger with eyes, for sure. When I see a car with eyes, it has a soul. Like my sister's car has even, like my car has a name. So yeah, so Mr. Bergerman, and then Mr. Bergerman in the gym. I'm a PE teacher, and I spend a lot of time in the gym for Everest. It just fit, and like the quality of the puzzle is so nice. It's like light, and the pieces are small but still like very stable. So it had to be this puzzle. There was no way. And I still tried to convince Ellen to make Mr. Bergerman in the mountain puzzle. So I really hope she's open for this idea. So Ellen, if you hear me, I will give up.
Yeah, but you have definitely worked hard for it to happen.
Yes, I did.
It is like a reason for her to do that. I would probably get that puzzle because it's a nice story behind it.
Yeah, I would I would love to have him. And it was also like it's also a lucky charm. Like I had a burger with me who like, and the fun thing is like I puzzled in Camp 4. I recorded it. I did it without oxygen, and I lost a piece. So I was like puzzling and then a piece, and I found it after it, but it was so stupid. I was recording it and I timed it, and then I was like, where is this piece? And it was like underneath my butt. So that was, yeah. So Mr. Bergerman like fought a little bit against the recording, I guess. But he was on the summit too. I brought him with me. I have a picture.
Very good. That's pretty amazing. And then you obviously this is like a big mental strain, and like as there's a lack of oxygen, like you were also saying it before, but I have heard it before as well, that like just your brain doesn't function the same if you're up that high and there's a lack of oxygen. Like, did you actually like feel like there's a difference, or what, did it become more challenging to like complete the puzzle as you were getting higher and higher?
Actually, I just felt slow because like there was wind busting on the tent, and like my Sherpa had to hold the camera. My other Sherpa was sleeping beside me. So that, I think, slowed me down. I think the lack of oxygen, that didn't really slow me down. I could breathe normally, which I still like can't process because it's on 8,000 meter, and I didn't have the mask on for like 10 minutes. And like other people, they say they struggled already when they took off the mask to drink and then put it on. So I didn't really like feel it, but I think I was slower than like at base camp. And I previously tried the puzzle only with the gloves. So in Camp 1 and 2, I did it with different kind of gloves, and I was always like slower, like half the time, like double the time. In Camp 1, it took me more than 11 minutes to do it with gloves, like with thin gloves. So I didn't realize something different. Yeah. But I think, yeah, I have to do it. I actually never did this puzzle in like this level of altitude. So maybe I have to do it again.
Most probably, yes.
Yeah.
And then what did the other climbers think? And like in connection to that, like how many people were there? Like how can someone imagine this? Like, is there like a big group of people, or is just you and your Sherpas and then separated from like everybody else? Or like what is the logistics in general?
Yeah, so at base camp you spend time, like you share the dining tent with whoever chose the same company. So in my tent we were like 16 or 17. And then on the mountain, you if you share the tent, like I was by myself. I did a private expedition because the company I wanted to go first, they didn't have an expedition, so I had to find something else. And I really wanted to go with my Sherpa because I already climbed with him and I trusted him 100%, and he trusts me. And I didn't have to discuss things you normally have to discuss, like food, for example, in my case. So I had to make a private expedition. So on the mountain, I was by myself in the tent or shared it with my Sherpas. So Camp 3 and 4, I shared it with my Sherpas. So there, nobody saw me puzzling. But in base camp, it was actually like the world flipped. So here, when I talk about puzzling, people kind of understand it. But when I say I want to climb Everest, they are like, really? Like they don't believe me. And there it was the other way around. It was like totally okay. The mountains I climbed, and we were talking about it like talking, what do you shop tomorrow? But talking about speed puzzling, it was like, are you like making a joke or is it a thing? Like nobody ever heard from speed puzzling. So it was, I had to explain, and they were open for it, but it was not like something like, it was something weird for them, but not something special.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of weird hobbies up there as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah, we saw a
connected
home
to everyone with
trainer in
Everest.
one tent. Yeah. And like one thing which I can also say, like when I say it's a private expedition, somebody wanted to know how much I paid for it.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was the question.
Yeah, so like the whole thing with all the mountains I did as preparation, it was around $160,000. I'm a teacher, and in Switzerland, teachers earn quite good, I would say. And Everest itself, it was 72,000, and then you also have to pay tip. You have to, and I also wanted to do so. It's another 4,000 tips. For the Sherpas, then another 500 for the kitchen crew, and then like the flight, all the gear. So yeah, I would say like around $80,000. So I'm pretty much broke. Like I was broke when I was on Everest. I still got my wage because I still worked at that time. So I earned money to still be able to order some puzzles during the waiting time at base camp. Yeah. But it was worth it for me. It was worth it. Like I don't have kids. I don't own a home. I don't want to own a house. So for me, it was totally worth it. But I totally understand when people say it's too much. Like you can climb Everest for 30,000, but then you only have one inexperienced Sherpa. You don't have good food. You don't have the security system I wanted to have, because I promised my family I do everything I can to come back. Like everything I can, like improve or change or do something, I will do. So for me, it was clear I will not go for the cheapest. I will go for the safest.
Yes, of course. And then especially since you have been planning it for like 28 years, you most probably have been preparing for it also financially, in the sense.
Yeah, like actually, I only realized 2017 that it's possible financially. Until then, I was like, I will not do it because it's so not realistic for me, because we never had much money as a family. So when I realized that I'm a teacher, like I know I'm a teacher, but I was like, when I work 100% all the time and work like more, do substitutes, it could be possible. But then the other problem was like, do I have the abilities like physically, which I also thought I don't have them. And then I was like, okay, then I have to get them. So 2017, it kind of started that I thought it could be possible financially. So I had to make sure that it's also possible physically. So then I started to go more on hikes and go climbing and like go on other mountains. Yeah, because I wanted to do it right. Like for me, right means I wanted to have all the abilities I have to have before I go there. Because you have at base camp, you have so many people, they don't know how to walk on crampons. They don't know how to do a knot. They don't know how to rappel, and they learn it there. So it's like a 1-day training, and then they go up to climb Everest, which is like when something happens, or when your lack of oxygen hits.
In a way, it sounds insane now.
Yeah, but they do it to come home and tell people that they climbed Everest. And I did it because I had the dream, and I wanted to. I actually kind of hoped that the mountain shows me my limits. so that I don't have to chase for something. And now we have the situation that it didn't show my limits, like not physically, like mentally. I learned stuff. It was challenging. So we will see what life brings the next 10 years.
Oh yeah. Which is actually, it kind of relates to what you just said, relates to one of the questions. Do you have that now what feeling that of like, you know, a goal that you have had for almost 30 years and then all of a sudden it's done? Like, do you have something planned now, or how is it going now?
I actually don't have the feeling right now at all, but since I know me, it will be somewhere. But I don't want to go back on an 8,000 meter peaks for, like, I would say now for the rest of my life, but maybe I change it. For now, I just want to live and enjoy my life. You have to know, like, I always did things dependent on Everest. So whenever I made a decision, and it's already like been the last, I would say 10 years, I was like thinking about what impact does it have for this dream, and like coming back and not like I still have to adapt to that, like to not have to think about Everest anymore, like what impact it has. That feels so good, and like my life was already really good before that, and I just, like I told people, I just want to enjoy my life. Like Sundays, sunny Sundays, it's not a problem anymore to puzzle the whole day or lay on the couch with my boyfriend or stuff like that. And I always had like a bad feeling. I have to go training, I have to use this day, because if I don't go to train, I might not go, like, reach the summit. And all this is just gone. And I actually enjoy puzzling more now, because puzzling felt like a waste of time the last, like, since I discovered puzzling, since I heard about the worlds, I was in between chairs, because I actually had to train for Everest, but I also wanted to do speed puzzling. So I always, like, I have my app where I put my puzzles in, like, and I always try to have as much hours of puzzling, like as much hours of training that I spent on puzzling. So when the app showed like you puzzled 100 hours in the month of, I don't know, March, I had to check how many hours I was training, and it was always less, and I always felt so bad. Because I promised my family I train a lot. Yeah, so it's like a liberation now for me.
Yeah.
And let's see how long it stays like that.
Yes. Well, it's definitely going to be interesting to hear about that. Of like, what
you won't see me on climbing, like, no, that's, I can't say it. So I will go hiking still, and I tried to climb some mountains in Switzerland which are famous, like Mönch and Eiger. I want to climb, and Mont Blanc. But they are like nothing like Everest. I could also go there without training, because I have a basic, like, I can still train, yeah,
with your training level. But this ties in with a question that you have received, which is, what recommendations do you have for mountains to climb in Switzerland or around Europe, for like whoever wants to like maybe start going up mountains? And of like, what would you suggest for people who want to like start out at all?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. I would go hiking, and then maybe it's already enough to go on hikes and enjoy the panorama, the view, because the view is amazing also on hikes. And if you really want to go climbing, I would suggest to do rock climbing first, to have the abilities before you go to mountain, because on some mountains you can't return. And if you are stuck somewhere with your mountain guide, it could get dangerous really fast. So I would say first hiking, and then rock climbing, and then go climbing. And I climbed Matterhorn, and it was nice, but it was very crowded. I would go for like not famous mountains, which are also challenging. Like challenging, not very difficult challenging, but like the first mountain is challenging for everyone, because you go out and do something you don't know, like it's the first time. So I climbed a mountain which is called Lockinghorn. which was really nice. You can go on a normal route and it's a hike, but you can climb also for the other side. It's a traverse, and that was really nice because it was rock climbing, but not very difficult. It was on a ridge, and you could see like Milan. From far away, you could see like the whole valley. It's above Saasgrund, which I really liked. So don't go for the famous one because they are crowded, and like crowded mountains are not as fun as not crowded mountains.
But does it also make them more difficult? Like, is there like, is there like a difference between like, if a mountain is like super popular, then most probably they're also easier to do? Or
no, not always. Like Matterhorn is actually, like, when it comes to the technical level, it's not difficult. It's difficult because you have to climb at least 8 hours up and 4 hours down, so you need to be fit, and you have to find the route, for example. But like it's just unknown mountains, or like if you want to impress people, then you don't go for a mountain nobody knows, right? So it depends on why you want to climb mountain. If you want to impress people, go train a year and then go to Matterhorn, and you will be able to impress people, but maybe you don't like it because it's like hundreds of people up there. Whereas you can go on a mountain beside Matterhorn, which is only 3,000 meters high, and it's called Riffelhorn, and it's lonely. And you have almost the same view. So it depends on why you want to climb it. Yeah, I climbed Matterhorn actually because I really love Toblerone. And I expected to not be able to do it. And I wanted to test how far I get. Again, like I don't believe in me. It's so funny. It's like people believe in me and I don't believe in me. So when I went down and I looked up Matterhorn, I was like, I was up there 12 hours ago. How is it possible? It looks like unclimbable. Like 12 hours after I was on the summit, I already believed, how could I do it?
So we have 1 minute to go.
Yeah. Can I answer one last question?
No, we're going to come back to you. I'm going to keep running. I'm going to keep running the live stream because we have so many more questions. But
sorry,
we can talk after the countdown.
Yeah, we can keep talking still.
Yeah, so we have Joaquin, Dora, Kirsten, Hannah, Julie, Angelica, Daniela, Frederica, and Christina. And Jules, we just finished just a minute ago. Well done to Jules. So, Angelica is very close.
Extremely close, yes.
I see Dora is already counting her pieces.
She let go of finishing the puzzle already.
Yeah.
Any message for your auntie?
Count well. No, it's like I have a message for the lucky charm. You see the teddy bear?
3, 2, 1, stop. 2 hours, everyone stop.
I know.
Oh, congrats for puzzling so long.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you can count your leftover pieces and add them to the chat. And yeah, Enemy, go ahead. What were you saying?
Which question did you want to answer?
I first want to say the teddy bear on the background of my auntie is older than me.
Oh.
Yeah. We all received one of them from her dad, like my mom's dad, and she kept it. And I don't know why. I just gave it away at some point, and I regret it whenever I see it. Yeah. No, so the question I wanted to answer, because I think it's a really good question. One person asked what advice I have for somebody who has a nearly impossible goal.
That was my question.
This is exactly the question that I still wanted to ask.
Yes, perfect.
That was my question.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, I think it's really important, but because for me, like even being at base camp, it felt impossible for me. So what helps is like to break down the goal, because I would never have been able to climb Everest like in one go. It took me like 4 hours, 4 years to like do it, and like cut it down and just take it step by step. Because when you take a step, like your perspective changes. And like talking from mountains, a mountain looks very like all the mountains I climbed, they look like very steep and unclimbable from distance, and then you hike there and you come closer and closer, and then everything seems to be doable. So do it like step by step, and it's also okay to go a step back. So if you not feel okay, or it's a too big step, or you are not capable of doing it, go back a step. And it's not a fail, it's like a realistic view of your goal, because nobody, like Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. And like it's also okay to have a dream and try to achieve it, and not like have success like at first, because you will learn from it and you will improve even from fail, like feeling of failing. I don't like the word failing. It's not failing, because you put yourself into the position that you could not like reach the goal, which means you are in a situation that you have to explain to yourself why you didn't reach it. And worst thing, you also have to explain other people why you didn't achieve your goal. So I think it's good to always like change the perspective, and you will reach a point where you can be proud. And don't forget to be proud, because you try, like when I started to talk about Everest, I put myself into very bad discussions, because I had to explain people who will never understand why I do it. So if it's your dream and you want to pursue it, then go for it. You don't need anyone to understand it. If you are behind it, go for it. And you will meet people who will support you. Like I was at base camp, and I was surrounded by people who totally understood why I'm there, even though they had different reasons. So it was and you will go into the community, and you will find people there who will understand, and you will improve. You will be at some other point, which makes you a better person, because you tried, and you will succeed at some, like you will not get the success you might wish for, but you will succeed. But you have to go for it. Yeah.
Yes. Sandra, as a response to what you just said that every journey starts with the first step. It's a process. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
to go around it.
And the first step very often is the most hard step of the whole project. Like talking of Everest, like a lot of companies say, going out of your home and closing your home will be the hardest thing you will do on the whole expedition.
To actually leave.
Yeah, to go, to really start the thing, whatever thing it is. And like a friend of mine, she says, like in German, it's like, or in Swiss German, jedem sie Everest, like everyone has an Everest. It doesn't have to, like, you know, and the Everest could be for people maybe who have a depression to stand up and go outside of the house, you know. It doesn't have to be like the top of the world. And I think we have to be proud of every step we make, because steps means we are moving. Even steps back, it's a moving. It's not staying there and not changing anything.
Was there any point on the trip that you thought maybe you can't go on? Like where you maybe got frozen and thought, what am I doing here? Maybe I made the wrong choice. Maybe or outside circumstances, weather or temperature or sickness that made you think maybe I can't make it?
Like I always thought I can't make it, because I always expected something to happen. But like there were some parts, like going up, there were so many people up there. Like when you ever saw a picture of Everest with a lot of people, that was what I experienced for the whole summit push. I was standing there a lot. I was looking at the stars, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? And like the point, I was really scared. I fell into a hole on Summit Ridge, like at 8,700 something. I fell into a hole, and I couldn't save myself anymore. So I was dependent on people. They had to like push or pull me out, and I was hyperventilating. I couldn't see anymore. I couldn't breathe anymore. I cried, and I saw myself there, like in my mind. And there I was like it wasn't worth it. Like it wasn't worth to go up here and die here, like having queued already for 10 hours. And when I was safe, like they pushed me out, I was like looking at the rest of the summit ridge, and I decided to not go on because I decided it's not worth it. So I was shouting to my Sherpa, like cheering, but he couldn't hear me because he was like 2 meters away from me, and he had the hoodie on, like and the mask. So I kept going, and when I reached him, I was almost at the summit. So yeah, and then it was like, okay, I go down. So yeah. And then going down is actually the most dangerous part. It's like you on the summit, you are halfway, and you had like most of the people who like spent more than 50% of the energy on the hike on the way up, and then they ran out of energy on the way down. So actually, the second half is more dangerous. So whenever I leave a summit, I try to really be focused, because now it's a time you really have to, like, there is no time for mistakes. And I actually planned to climb the mountain beside Everest, Lhotse, on the next day. So I actually wanted to climb Everest, come back to Camp 4, and then go up to Lhotse the next day. And on the way down, I just realized I don't want to risk it. So I decided to not go there, because it was not worth to go up there. Because I felt physically, I felt totally ready to go up there, but I didn't feel ready to go down without a mistake. And if you ever have seen a picture of Lhotse, it's like a 3,000 meter drop if you make a mistake. So it's a long slide down. I just didn't want to risk it. So yeah, that was the decision I made. I will go down. I will tell my Sherpas we will not go up, even though they carried a lot of load for it. And it was totally okay. So that's one thing, Furushi, that might come back in like 5 or 6 years if I want to try it. But I don't think so, because it looks vertical from Everest. It looks like this.
Oh God.
Yeah. When you're closer, it looks like this, but it's a slide. I was not like, I didn't want to go there.
Well, thank you for not taking that risk.
The way you described like the descent now, it is actually like a nice allegory to like the entire goal and everything. Like doing the right thing once the goal is done, and that is like the difficult part, or having completed the goal, which is like if you think about it, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but for me, it was always clear. I didn't complete the goal when I was on the summit. Never. I knew, no, summit is not the goal. It's the base camp. Base camp is the finish line. Yeah, so I felt safe when I arrived base camp, actually.
That's also a good thing to keep in mind for like any other goal, really. It's not just the goal itself, but like, you know, the short time after it, or whatever you have to still get done after.
It's the path. It's like we have the saying in German, der Weg ist das Ziel. And it sounds very stupid, but it actually is like that. It's the path. Like I started to improve on the day, actually already 2 days before I left, because I had to start packing, and I really didn't want to pack, because packing means I will go, you know? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that must have been a really, scary experience, falling and then, just wondering what are you doing at that moment. But it sounds like everybody there helped you, and especially, just pulled you out physically, but perhaps emotionally as well. Just, I mean, I can't imagine being in that situation, but thankfully you were safe. You managed to reach the summit. And I think it's really important that you say that that's only half of the goal, because we always think, oh yeah, look, there's the top of the mountain, but as you say, coming down can just be just as dangerous, and you're running out of time. If you've already been hiking for 10 hours and waiting, you're using oxygen, and now it's getting critical, because you've got to get back to your campsite safely. So that's something very important to think about.
And also don't forget the Sherpas. They had 1 bottle of oxygen in the time I had 4 bottles of oxygen. So they could have run out of oxygen, like, I don't know. I never asked, because I actually didn't want to know. But like, they are in danger before you are in danger.
That's actually one thing I wanted to still ask about, like the Sherpas. Like, like it sounds like it's a teamwork between them. Like, what is the dynamics? Like, I would imagine that you get pretty close to them while you are there. And like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I had already climbed with my Sherpa and we got along very well. And so he knew what he got himself into when they asked him if he wants to climb with me. And the other one I didn't know, but by accident, like coincidentally, he already climbed Everest 2 years ago with a friend of mine who shared tent with me. Rebecca. So she only told me like good things about him, and I knew like the Sherpas I will get will be very good trained. They know what to do, so I also trusted him. But with him, like he was very quiet at the beginning, and I'm very like choky normally. So I think he was overwhelmed by my presence at the beginning. Like that's my theory. But then I think cheering my other Sherpa talked to him, and then it was very nice. But yeah, like I wouldn't say like teamwork in between then. And my job was to make their job as easy as possible. So doing whatever they tell me to do, trying to be out of their way, trying to bring as less things as possible up the mountain because they carry it up. Yeah, stuff like that. And like being prepared also, like being trained, knowing what to do on the rope. They never had to like unclip or clip my carabiner, for example. They didn't have to explain me for 20 minutes how to rappel, which other Sherpas had to do on the rappel. So we were waiting there for 30 minutes because the client was too tired to get what he had to do. And there was one rope. So you just have to wait. Using oxygen, telling them, like you have to be very open about problems. So whenever I had a headache, even just like a slight one, I tell them when I take medicine, I tell them when I have problems with digestion, I tell them when I can't pee or can't sleep. Like you just have to be open because they have to trust you. And if something happens to me, they would give their life for me. Whereas when they need help, you as a client shouldn't really help them. Like it's not like it's like in Sherpa community, if a client helps the Sherpa is weak, and you don't get away of this image. So a weak Sherpa nobody wants to hire. So he basically loses jobs for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I'm totally aware I could never have been able to do this without the Sherpas. Like never. No chance I could have done it without them. So for me, like for example, the summit, like the bonus, the tip you give is actually a summit bonus. So in theory, you just have to give it to them if you reach the summit and come back safely.
Mm-hmm.
But like they start working for you the moment you arrive at base camp, because they start to carry stuff up. So whenever I had rest days, like stayed 2 weeks in base camp, they were going up and down and up and down and up and down, because all the oxygen bottles had to go up, the tents had to go up, like the cooking stuff had to go up, the food had to go up, like everything had to go up. And they, like the two of them, were responsible to bring up the stuff and down again. So every oxygen bottle you bring up, there's a number. They will write it down at base camp. They will write it down at camp 2, and they will write it back down when you come back down. And if you leave bottles up there, you have to pay a fine, and like a big fine. Yeah, and they are responsible for me. So they had to change my oxygen bottles. They had to cook water for me. They even like made popcorn for me in camp 3 and 4, because they know the only thing I eat is popcorn up there. So yeah, they do everything. And I just had to go up and sleep and drink and eat, and that's it.
Incredible.
So, yeah. So I told them already on like, I think on our first day on the mountain, they will get the summit bonus no matter what, because for me, they work so much before the summit and after the summit. So it's, for me, it's stupid to just give them the bonus when they reach the summit, because not reaching the summit could be the weather. It couldn't be like, it's not their fault if we don't reach the summit. And like I didn't go for Lotte, so I could also reduce the bonus half, because it's like 2,000 for 2 summits, so it's 1,500 for Everest and 500 for Lotte. I could have said, we didn't go on Lotte, it was my decision, but I don't care. Here is only 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
And I earned like 6,000 for this 2-month expedition. And you know how much I paid, so they get so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they are your life, like, insurance, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. And I mean, they work so hard and are so critical for the safety of the climbers. And also I read up a bit about how a team goes up every year. A different company chooses, every year a different company is chosen to basically prepare the route. So they have a team go up, they check all the bolts, they put in the ropes, they put in, ladders, new ladders in, and they just check everything, and then basically after that the season is open. So they really do an incredible job. I think we'll go for another 5 minutes. I just have one question about Khumbu Icefall. So you said it's a glacier and there's cracks in there, it's creaking. When I've seen photos of it or videos, like people are crossing it with giant backpacks which already like offset your center of balance, and then you're going across a ladder like from one ice block to the next block, and then you have ropes. How was that for you? Like, did you feel prepared for that, and how was it actually taking those steps into the unknown?
Yeah, so I prepared actually on a ladder at home. My boyfriend has a ladder like that, so I prepared it at home. But the ladders in Nepal are different than here, so it actually didn't help that much. And I'm afraid of altitude. That's the funny thing. I think nobody knows, but I'm afraid of like verticals. Like climbing in a climbing gym is very bad for me. I get afraid, like my whole body shakes. So the ladders cross crevasses which are deep or not. I try to not look down, but I always look down at some point. So yeah, you just have like, I really just believed in fate, and I was like, okay, you already came so far, you will be okay. But like, I didn't like the ladders that much, but I liked them more because like there were a lot of crevasses without ladders where you had to jump. And since the glacier moves, they get wider and wider and wider. And like, yeah. So on the way back, there was one jump. I was standing there and I was like, why do you do it? And I knew I have to jump, because if I don't jump before my brain realizes, I will never jump. And then I'm stuck. And my Sherpa was behind me with the 60 kg. He didn't jump. He couldn't jump. So he had to take down like off the backpack, and then we tried to put it on the rope, and then we like I pulled it, and then it was too heavy, so it was in the crevasse. So he was pulling on the rope on one side of the rope, and I was on the other side of the crevasse and trying to pull it, but both of us were too weak to move it. So we were standing there like holding the backpack, and we didn't know what to do because the other Sherpa was in front of us and he was already gone. So we were standing there, and I was like, Chiri, what are you doing? And he was like, I don't know. And then thank God 3 Japanese people arrived and on his side, and they were like, what are you doing? We were like, we did something bad. So they helped him to pull it out again. And then he jumped on my side, and then they put it on the rope, and then it was 2 and 2, like to pull it, like the 3 there, and so we could pull it over. Yeah, but there we were like happy and lucky that the 3 people came there, because otherwise we could just like wait there for people to come to help us, because the crevasse was very, very like I tried to look in it because I wanted to know how far I would have fallen, and you couldn't see the end of the crevasse. Like it was very, very deep. So the ladders were good. Yeah, and it did like most of the time it was 1 or 2 ladders. And there was one ladder, I don't know if you saw the picture. So there was at the beginning of the season, there were 4 ladders tied to each other on a big crevasse. And then one part of the crevasse fell. So the first people like the first week, people had to traverse on a vertical 4 ladder, and they are tied with like ropes. And if you if you put your crampons on the rope, like every time you put the crampon on the rope, it harms the rope. So many people, much harm, not stable anymore. And it was a big crevasse. And then when the one part of the crevasse collapsed, they put the ladder on a vertical. So it was like this. And they fixed it like on top and on the bottom so that it couldn't like slip down. And that was like felt safer than it was. So on the way down, it was really like bouncing, and they put another ladder on the side. So it was like this, like really bouncing. And I just like, I was able to just switch off my brain. And I was like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. That's how I crossed it. It sounds terrible.
It sounds horrible.
And it was horrible, but at that moment, it's just like you have to do it. Like, I won't stop because of a ladder, you know? I did so much. A ladder will not stop me,
Yeah.
you know?
Also,
And
you
then
don't
the
really,
jump will not stop me.
also, you don't really have a choice. Like, what do? You stand there and stay?
Or you return. And the more crevasses you jump over, like, at some point, it's like I already jumped over 10 crevasses. So going back means I have to jump over 10 crevasses again. And going up means like the icefall doctors, like the people who take care of the icefall. If something happens, they have time to take care of it. So whenever we came down, I hoped for another ladder on a big crevasse. So this big crevasse we had to jump over, like the icefall doctors didn't know. They went up on the day we went down. So they fixed it with another ladder. But yeah, there is like no choice. You have to go there. And like you can't, like my backpack, you could have thrown over because it was only 15 kg, but throw 60 kg 2 meters. It's
That's like our weight.
exactly.
Throwing a person. Yeah.
And like the team who fixed the route up the summit, that was like they were doing it on Everest the first time, and some people were not quite happy with them because it took them more time than usual, and they had some weird route finding. Like they took some very direct vertical ways, which were like bottlenecks, so just one way. Whereas you could have done it differently. That's what, like, I'm not an expert, so I wouldn't judge it, but that's what people say who are on Everest like every year. So they said it was better last year. But for me, it was okay. I don't mind direct vertical ones if I'm like, I know it's fixed. It's a little bit more exhausting, but I mean, it's a vertical face. What do you want to do? You can't go this way because it takes too long. So it's like, yeah.
Wow, I'm feeling so tense just hearing all of it.
Yeah, I also tensed up so much. It's fascinating to hear, but it also sounds horrible.
Yeah, I didn't post like much on social media because I didn't know where to start. I will post stuff. Misha, don't kill stuff.
Fly keeps sitting on my forehead. Yeah. And so when you were at the camps and you're doing this, like, and you're just every day you're overcoming like little challenges. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
like actually being at base camp, the biggest challenge was to have something to think about, because like the mountain was there in front of you, but you don't want to think about the mountain, because when I start to think about the mountain, I start to think negative things, what could happen. So all the thoughts about the mountains were blocked. And then I also didn't want to think about what's after the expedition, because the possibility was there to not come back. So I tried to not think of what is in June, or I don't know what comes when I come home. So what do you think in between this big block? You don't want to think because it scares you. And this block, you don't want to think because it might not happen. So I was there like complaining about food, playing cards, like almost every day, losing nanograms, reading books, and trying to get my mind not focused on something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mentally really it was terrible because like what yeah. And when I was talking to my boyfriend or when I was talking to my sister or to my friends, like sometimes you had good Wi-Fi so you could talk on the phone. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, are you telling your family after you've gone over the ice fall all these details, or are you just keeping that as a secret to yourself? Like, it's, I guess at some point when I hear these things and I'm feeling these things, it's like you want to express, like, what did we just do? Like, how crazy is that? How funny is that? Wow, that was close. But then you don't want to, like, I guess you would, I imagine you wouldn't want to be making your family more worried about you. Like,
Yes,
how
exactly.
how do you find that balance of, like, how much details do I give?
Yeah, how much do you tell your family?
Yeah, actually, like everything is my blog in my blog. So when they read the blog, they will find out. I like I wanted to be very open and transparent because if I hide something and they find it out, they get scared and they don't trust me anymore. That's how I would do it. Like I already experienced it with my parents when my dad was at the hospital. They didn't tell me like the real risk of him dying maybe. And after that, I never trusted 100% if my dad was in the hospital and they told me, he has this and this. I always asked, is there something more? And when I was on Aconcagua, my mom had to go to hospital. They didn't even tell me. So everything was okay. So whenever I was on the mountain, I never knew, is everything okay? Or did they just tell me? So I didn't want to be like that. So I tried to be transparent, but I also blocked a lot of emotions. I cried a lot, but like if you talk about this, you have to block your emotions because when they know how much scared you are, they will be even more scared because they can't do anything. They are like they have to wait for news. I know I can do something because I do it. So I tried to tell them as neutral as possible. But like I didn't call them like every day. I think I called my boyfriend 3 times in the 2 months before summit because like all the time I got really homesick when I had big connections with them. And you don't want to, like I wanted to go home, but you don't want to go home. You're already there, right? So yeah, actually the blog has everything in it, like 100%. I don't want to hide something. Also, for people who are interested, I don't want to show a picture that doesn't exist. I want to show reality, which is also scary for me. Like when I look at my pictures, like the icefall or the movies, it's like, did I just go there? Did I walk through it? Yeah, and there are sections with very big seracs, and then it's like, this is the fast section. So the Sherpas will run through it and you can't run it. So you go as fast as possible, but at some point you are out of breath, so you have to stop, but you can't stop. So you kind of run, which is walking here through the icefall, and you see the serac, and you try to not think it could fall on your head. And then you just hope the serac is gone when you come back down, and then you come down and you see, oh, it's there, but it was like this when you come here, and now it's like this, and you still have to go there.
Oh no.
So, yeah, you just run even more. But I
Oh.
also believe in fate, and I think I prepared myself so much for it that I think like Everest is a goddess. It's a goddess, and I just thought she will not let me die on Everest because my fate is not to go there and die. My fate is to come back and tell the story. So I trusted the mountain. I was like, I had 100% trust in the mountain that she will not put me in a situation where I fall into a crevasse or be buried underneath a rock. And if it happens, there is a reason. So if I would have fallen into a crevasse or jumped not far enough, it would have been to learn. That's what I think. So I was like, I didn't want to have that happen, but if it happened, I knew I will overcome the situation and learn from it and grow from it. but hoping nothing happens. Actually, you don't want to be back in base camp and you're like, oh, I saw a crevasse from the inside. It's very scary.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, this is so fascinating. It's so interesting to hear all about this. I've just put your the link to your blog, 1000 Days to 8848.com.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the meters, 8848 meters. And I've also put your Instagram account, Sad Travel Blog. So if you want to know more, I mean, I'm going to have to go back and read some of these in detail. We don't have time for it tonight, but I'm glad we kept the live stream running because there's just so many interesting stories here, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about it when we see you in Trier, and those who will see you at the European Championship. But
yes.
thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for being so interested. It's very I really appreciate it because it's like so much not puzzling. But I feel like people take the possibility. Like I never met somebody who climbed Everest or did something like that. So I think it's also a possibility for people to reach out and ask all the questions they always wanted to ask. Yeah. So again, I'm there to talk about puzzles or mountains. I'm totally okay. Or unicorns.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely an inspiration for all of us. And when you were on that mountain, I was just praying for your safety and health, and just hoping all the best, and just really happy to hear that it worked out fine and you made the right decisions. You didn't take extra risks, and that you are here with us today. So thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate it.
It was so very inspiring to hear this entire story.
Thank you.
It's inspiring and emotional, and it's just it's amazing, and I'm very happy that the mountain has helped you.
Or also the prayers from Michelle. I'm pretty sure that's also a thing that brought me up there. Like all the people that thought of me, I didn't do it alone. I never I felt lonely when I got the information that I couldn't fly home the day I wanted to fly home. That was the only day I felt very, very lonely. But other than that, I felt like carried by a lot of people. And I also knew I can always when it's too much, I can go back home without any summit, and I don't have to explain. People would still love me and would still appreciate me, and that's so it's so easy to do it when you know you have so much support.
Yeah, that's amazing. So just 2 comments from the chat. Puzzling Peggy says, "You're such an inspiration." And Matt says, "I'm hooked to this interview from the beginning." So thank you for staying with us. We're actually an extra 35 minutes over time, but we just needed to know more.
As far as I can see, we have over 30 people still watching. So it's definitely an interview.
And I'm definitely going to recommend this for people when they're doing some casual puzzling, that they have something to listen to. So we've been talking now for an hour, more than an hour. So, all right, well, thank you so much. And Dora's been continuing with her puzzle. Thanks to everyone who's still been listening. And we'll see you at the next live stream. And have a good night, everybody.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.